Good evening, everybody. Sorry, we're starting a little early, but it's a big show, man, and it's because it's a Florida show. Hang on. Welcome to the King Leo Show. I'm your host, King Leo. Hang on. Sorry, we're starting a little early. Our audio test. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the King Leo Show. I'm your host, King Leo. How are you, ladies and fellas, doing tonight? We have a big show tonight because, I guess last week was like our Shark Week, but with Nick Fuentes, it was Fuentes Week. And he's the new wizard of the show, dude. Like this guy is unstoppable, man. And he's starting to make an impact on my state, it seems, of Florida, which is not my home state. It's where I was born and raised and live in and have not left. Okay, so I say that because we're going to look at an interview today that the interviewer doesn't really do that. I'm enjoying a San Pellegrino here. I care about this state. I think it's an important state. This state has gone to shit in the past couple of years. All of our politicians are terrible. If you're not aware, everyone in Florida hates every side of politics, man, unless you're a transplant. Dude, these guys are all thieves and criminals at the local and state level. So I want to cover this candidate called James Fishback, who seems to be flirting with Nick Fuentes' endorsement, and I want to see if he's a serious candidate. Full disclosure, I actually had reached out to him early on to his campaign because I was like, dude, I like that you're attacking our Republicans. I fucking hate our Republicans, because I hate both our Republicans and our Democrats. But I can't say I support the guy. I don't know enough about him, and I want to show you guys on the show because he's kind of freaking me out, man. He's not approaching this in a way that gives me confidence in him. Whether you're right wing or left wing, I don't vote regardless, right? But I had this hope. I was like, man, maybe this Fishback guy can be at least different. At least he could be a little different to what we have, because we have him or Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds, our lieutenant governor, or Ron DeSantis' wife, or who else? Some Democrat that's not going to win. That's not going to win. So this is a realistic third way possibility. But I'm just not sure if he means it or not. So I really want to cover this. In addition to that, we have to cover Venezuela. How you do in advanced conspiracy theory? It's a selection, not an election. I think you may be more right than you know, my friend. Nice getting here early, man, because we usually start at 10. Ron DeSantis and Trump have a very, very good Republican machine running in Florida. We've always had a good Republican machine, but it used to be a purple state. But after DeSantis, it's pretty much guaranteed that DeSantis and Trump can get the candidate they want. That's why another reason that I don't really rate this Fishback guy. So we're gonna look at him though, because he's at least he's an interesting candidate to look at. And we'll do that. So first of all, I gotta do the plugs. Let's get this out of the way early. In the description, you will find the links to the Patreon. Get this up here. Which is actually getting stuff on it now. So here you can see the Patreon. We actually have the first episode of the King Leo Movie Club for any movie fans. This is the show I think I'm going to do here. I think I'm going to do it weekly or bi-weekly. I'm just not sure yet, but you'll at least get weekly. We did the Truman Show here. So subscribe on Patreon there if you want to get the show. We also have the coffee link for the What Would a Postmodernist Do bracelets, because Piers Morgan has been dethroned. So thank God PM also means postmodernist, man, because we'd be screwed otherwise. And here is our free Discord, and I'll throw the link in the chat in case anyone wants to join, because we've had some fun in here, Aria and I and Audio Vibes. Let me copy this because this link is always broken. I'll throw it in the chat here. Discord. All right. So with that, everybody, we have to get to our stories. We have to talk about Candace and all this stuff, man. But I'm just conflicted because I don't know we'll have enough time for everything we want to do. Like, this is a big story. I did a lot of research for the Fishback thing, man. So I think we'll do a shorter schizo watch. Let's start it with that. Okay, so starting off here for Schizo Watch, Let's see the greatest heel in America, the guy who loves to be hated, the funniest guy here, Randy Fine. What's up with him? Representative Randy Fine has called for the denaturalization and deportation of all Muslim immigrants in the U.S. following the Bondi Beach attack in Sydney and the full New Year's Eve bombing in LA. And here's a picture of our guy, Randy Fine. Does this guy know how to get you hot and ready or what, dude? This is a funny man. This is a man, dude. Rest in peace to those people in Australia, dude. But God damn, dude, does this guy love to? It's not even a grift. It's just for fun. Let's continue. I'm sorry, man. Twitter's acting up here for me. Here we have this is pretty interesting because it seems like the cartel in Mexico is becoming a real work option for people. The economy's not doing great. And they actually, I did a little digging here because I saw someone saying this on Twitter. Yeah, it was here. Apparently the cartel posts this kind of stuff all the time to hire naive Mexicans and Americans to join their ranks. Let's see what kind of propaganda they're doing. It's a cool looking lifestyle, right? It's a cool looking lifestyle. I would not advise you to take this position. I wanted to show this on Schizo Watch because we're going to have to get into Venezuela, man. And the drugs are becoming relevant because, in case you're not aware, and we'll show Trump saying it, apparently these are no longer drugs. These are now WMDs. So Saddam Hussein, watch out. Cow One Calendar says, I love James. I think you mean James Fishback. We need more people in Congress like James Fishback. Less people to even say if they want to get reelected in 2026. They have a Jane 66 change Fishback platform. Are we talking about the same person? Because he's running for governor and he's not a congressman. But if you like James Fishback, then that's cool. Let's continue here. What else we got? Sorry, guys. I just really wanted to get this out of the way. We got here. This is some real brain rot, man. I love to keep up with, now that we live in Andy Warhol hell. How you doing, Audio Vibes? And everyone has their 15 minutes of fame. It's cool to see how people go on after their 15 minutes of fame. Let's see the torture that the boom guys have to put up with. You remember these guys, the Costco dad and son. And they can't stop. You can't stop nowadays. You become a simulacrum of a simulacrum. And, it's their hell. It's our hell. It's all of our hells.
6-7, 6-7, audible, 41, hook and chicken bake, audible, hook and chicken bake, back to 6-7, everybody run a skibbity toilet, down, set, hike, 6-7.
Everybody's got to eat. I won't hate on them for doing it, but dude, can you imagine living in this hell? Like having to do this performance this guy's gonna be 60 and doing this stuff. Hopefully ChatGPT catches up at that point and he can really take a break because, dude, it's tough. Here, I thought this was good for Schizo Watch. Doom Shop is happy about James Fishback. Well, we're gonna analyze him today, dude, because I'm a Floridian, so I feel like I have some authority to speak on it. And as I said at the beginning, I'm not really trusting this guy. I think he's an interesting guy, but we'll analyze it, dude. I have an in-depth thing that I want to go into with him because I'm just not fully sure about him. Here we have a corporate Christmas party where a CEO here, as you can read, are you in the legal team and have a problem with that guy from the accounting team that always takes too long to reply? Step into the ring. So for company retreats now, you have to fight your coworkers. To quote the new king wizard, top wizard in this country, man, Nick Fuentes, the Goyim are not people, dude. Like, how can you degrade yourself to this point? I really, can you imagine? The really fascinating thing about this is that the corporations, they eat everything, right? And they excrete it for the masses. They've eaten up Fight Club. A Fight Club is now something you do at a corporate event. You cannot even escape hell through pain because they will bring the pain to you. Really something, man. Let's see here, Valentina. What is our girl Valentina Gomez doing? Let's see what this lady has to say. This is obviously in the aftermath of this horrific attack in Australia. Let's see what she has to say.
This is an AR-15, and it takes a person to take it apart, put it back together, rackets, and pull the trigger. But these are not the problem. It's all the Muslims that are fulfilling the jihad, and they will not rest until every Christian, Jew, and Hindu are dead. Rhode Island and Australia have some of the strictest gun laws that I've ever seen. These criminals don't care about your stupid gun laws and gun-free zones. So if you want to keep celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah, and New Year's, vote me into Congress so I can actually make Texas the worst place for terrorist Muslims to live in, so help me God. Remember, for me, this is just an election, and I'm very well protected. But for you, this is your life.
This woman is so... We've gone through it. This woman is so retarded. This woman is genuinely dumb. I've never liked her. And I thought that Piers Morgan had kind of, he had the upper hand. He won that debate. But I think what's happening, because I've noticed that on Piers' show, we're not going to cover it today, but this has been happening in his past couple shows. After the Fuentes beatdown, I don't think anyone respects any of the whipping he was doing before, whipping people into shape. And I think that, dude, at this point, it has to be someone of the caliber of Nick Fuentes or him himself that can bring these people down, man, because this level of stupidity, this is really, you are cattle, man, at this point. Like, a politician talking to you like this, it's just, what, I don't even want to say boomer. Who would vote for this? Who would vote for this? I don't vote, but who would vote for this? Mystery Eula's here. She's hot. Yeah. Yeah. I guess, right? You guys are very, how you doing, man? You guys are very in the wood camp, but, this woman, man, she's driving me nuts, bro. She's driving me nuts. Who is going to get this woman to shut up? Dude, if Piers Morgan, that's the biggest problem with Piers Morgan getting defeated by Nick Fuentes, as we saw last week, is that now all of his work is invalidated. All of the good work that he had done to bring idiots down to size like Valentina Gomez, it's gone. We need someone else to step in. No friends at dusk. Doom Shop says she's insane. She's early stage MAGA and appeals to her redneck Latina loving audience. That's an do you think it's like a boomer white man thing, like a Latina fetish thing that's voting for her? Look, she's teaching you how to take apart a gun.
This is an AR-15, and it takes a person to take it apart.
Dude, this country is going to hell. To hell. Let's continue. What else we got? Let's see here. We got Chuck Schumer. This guy, dude, I don't understand what Chuck Schumer's role is anymore. I really don't get it. Last week, it was to condemn Fuentes or whatever. This week, by the way, he had to have known this. The whole time, there's a war that's being planned for Venezuela. That is happening. You think that they don't know this? They know this a month in advance, okay? And he's did that last week. And then again, after the shooting at Brown University, rest in peace, and I hope they find that guy, and the terrorist shooting in Australia, what are the priorities? Dude, at this point, they're making fun of you. Like, they are making fun of you because there's no way that this is helpful for anyone's mental health.
First, I'm going to say a few words about the terrible shooting in Sydney, Australia, okay? So, and first, of course, as I always say, no matter what, go Bills. They beat the Patriots today. It's a big deal. And of course, I'm going to...
But to the Bills fans, I understand why he did this. I've been to Buffalo, and it's not a nice city. So, like, it means a lot to Buffalonians. That's what it's called. Buffalonians, Buffalites. But you know what? Actually, maybe this guy... No, dude, he's not a wizard. None of the things he does, none of the things that he does actually work out. They're all pathetic. They all play into the frame of the other person. The Democrats, bro, these people have no leadership. Where is the resistance live? Where are these people to throw these guys out? That was the only people holding Democrats accountable. Let's continue. It's just insane. Insane what's going on. Here we have Megyn Kelly, who we showed the video. Dude. This is a woman that 5 to 6 years ago was promoting trans children on MSNBC. Whether you love it or hate it, this is an analysis channel. And this is why we're doing the analysis, and it's not gossip, okay? Megyn Kelly, 5 to 6 years ago, was busy promoting transgender surgery to children, okay? Whether you agree or disagree. 2 years before that, she was all angry at Trump, never Trump conservative. And now, let's see how she's talking now. Let's see how she's talking.
You know what, Wajahat? We white women would never marry a man like you, ever. We're not going to marry the brown men from Pakistan. We're only going to reproduce with white Americans, native born. That's it, because we don't want to make mixed babies.
Megyn Kelly, dude, this isn't even horseshoe theory. This is you're a schizophrenic. If you know anyone that watches this woman, dude, you're going to go nuts. They're going to go nuts. How can you trust any person? This is why we do Schizo Watch. How can you trust someone that has jumped from at least 3 vastly different political positions in the past 10 years, a decade? And she's not 17, she's in her 40s. And now she's saying that she's an Aryan, non-race mixing Fox News host. Bitch, you were promoting trans children 5 years ago. You're just trying to drive people nuts. Dude, if you know someone, I don't tell people what to do, but I will say this. If you know someone that watches Megyn Kelly, this is like Gamblers Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous. You need to intervene and be like, you have to stop watching this. This is going to destroy you. It's not good for you to watch this kind of stuff because these people have no standing to say any of the stuff they're saying. It's crazy. We're going to end our Schizo Watch here with our, as you might have heard over the weekend, you might have heard about this. There was a shooting at Brown University. There's a young lady who's dead. I believe it's just her, but maybe there's someone else. There's a couple dead people, okay? It's not something stupid, okay? There's dead people there, all right? And they haven't caught the guy. What is our FBI director doing right now? What is Kash Patel doing?
We are so excited to be joined by Kash and his beautiful girlfriend, Alexis. So I just want to clarify, you're not Jewish.
I'm not.
You are not from Israel.
No.
So how did we get to, are you a Mossad agent?
That's a great question.
Where's her ring? Just to clarify, how often has he traveled to see you since January 20th? Has there been one moment where you're like, you can't make this up?
Thank you, Kash Patel, for clarifying the ethnic heritage of your girlfriend, whether she's a spy for a country in the Middle East that is unpopular right now. Thank you. While we are actively looking for someone who did a mass shooting. Dude, come on. If anyone, you know who deserves this is the people who were shilling Kash Patel before this election, dude. I don't vote, but I talk to everybody. I talk to Kamala voters, I talk to Trump voters, and all the Trump voters, a lot of them would go, dude, he may not be great, but dude, this Kash guy, he's gonna be great. Kash is busy on fucking Stephen Miller's podcast. Well, there was a mass shooting. Yeah. Dude, Hannibal Lecter should be real at this point. He would get away with it. This is our FBI director. But you know what? I guess it's better that it's like this. At least he is not spending time actually screwing people. So, all right, that's the end of Schizo Watch. We have a couple new title cards that we have to introduce. So before we get to Venezuela, this is our new Zoran title card because whoa. All right, this was Schizo Watch. We have a new title card because I'm very curious. We analyzed Zoran Mamdani for several months. Zoran Mamdani is an interesting political figure. James Fishback is kind of the Mamdani of Florida, by the way. I'm gonna love analyzing this with you guys, man. He's a very interesting character, but I think Mamdani was more coherent. Just my bias as an analyst, okay? And as a Floridian, I'll admit, dude, it was easier to analyze Zoran because I'm at a distance. And I want to know what Zoran Mamdani is up to because I have a lot of interest in how he does in New York. So here is our Zoran title card that I made.
Are you a communist?
No, I am not. I don't think that we should have billionaires. No, I call myself a democratic socialist. No, I have many critiques of capitalism. There must be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country. What I'm focused on is making the city affordable for everyone, not to win an ideological argument.
So here we go. We've got our communist, jihadist, Shia, but they call it jihadist, Islamist, Osama bin Laden loving. What else? What else did they say? KKK member, Mark Levin said that. Guy as mayor. What is he doing? I know he's not mayor yet, but what is he doing? Let's see what he's doing. Let's pull this up here. I saw this over the weekend.
And millions plan to expand more employment opportunities for people with disabilities rather than just building those.
And, I think this is something that I've heard from many New Yorkers, is too often the only kinds of jobs that they think they have the ability to get are the ones that have their identity in the title of the job, that has some signifier of who they are in the title of that position. And disabled New Yorkers are like any New Yorker across the city. They have a place in leading our city and in being considered for roles that extend beyond those that are considered of innate importance only to disabled New Yorkers. And that's kind of what I was saying earlier.
Okay, so it just kind of goes on. And look, it's sweet, it's nice, you speak to everybody. Zoran, the campaign is over, bro. Like, I want to see the free bus plans. This is sweet, it's kind, but for any Zoran heads, man, this is just chum. It's sweet. We don't get to see disabled people, asking an elected official how they're doing. What's up? What are your plans for me? But this is campaign stuff, dude. As I said from the start, dude, he has a lot in common with Trump. And if he's going to get into office and keep campaigning from the bully pulpit, what is going on? I want to see plans. I want to see schematics. I want to see what are the blueprints? I want to see everything. I want to see that. Zoran, this is sweet and all, but I'm just saying that, look, it's sweet. It is sweet, but I want to see cool shit, man. I was promised communist jihad, and I don't think he'd be able to deliver, honestly, but I want to see him look like he's going to deliver, He should have this guy writing up the plans for the free buses, I actually read a lot of people are moving into New York after his victory, so interesting times, man. Let's get to a new segment. Listen, we can be cruel. It's sweet. It is a sweet thing to do. But all right, but whatever. We have another title card that I'm introducing, and this used to be a segment of Schizo Watch. But I am so fascinated with Charlie Kirk, and we're going to get into him because we have to talk about Candace Owens, that I have made a title card for Charlie Kirk because this is the man who has defeated death. Well, let me know what you think.
We are Charlie Kirk! It's a fact. AI's taken over the world, and I don't think people are prepared for that. Grok can do that. I think AI is way more powerful than we give it credit for. ChatGPT can do that pretty well. Who can use AI the quickest and the best?
All right, so let's see what this man who has defeated death, this man who has ascended past, despite his wife's worst efforts, he has now entered the memosphere. We have observed this slowly over time. Okay? This is a great man because he's not a man anymore. He's something else. He means something to everyone. We are going to keep tracking this dude because The AI shit is so creative. He predicted AI would take over. That's the clips I used. It's from a YouTube video called Charlie Kirk Talks AI. Did he know AI would become him? Did he know that? 1,000 years from now, when the historians look back, if we're still here, will they confuse Charlie Kirk and Christ? Because we're getting to this level. We're getting to this level of insanity. And honestly, as I always said, the people who make these memes, whether you think they're mean-spirited or they don't actually mean it in a nice way, these people love Charlie more than anyone around him ever did, except for maybe Candace. So let's see what have the memers cooked up. How has the king, the first post-human, the first transhuman, Charlie Kirk is the first transhuman, doesn't need a human body to exist. What is going on here?
My granny called, she said, Travis, you work too hard. I'm worried you forget about me. I'm falling.
I guess it's a Silver Surfer dancing to one of the best Travis Scott songs. Charlie Kirk, very good. We got storylines now based out of popular films.
Charlie, it's Jeff. Do you copy? Charlie, it's Jeff. Can you hear me? On your left.
This one blew my mind, man, because apart from the, obviously now we're getting the canon of the 21st century, the Marvel movies, the MCU, and inclusion of Charlie Kirk there. But what's so odd to me is we have two people who are deceased, Charlie Kirk and Jeffrey Epstein. And we have Diddy, who's still alive. We have, I assume that's TikTok brain rot, and LeBron James, who is still alive, as I remind you. Donald Trump, who's alive. And a fictional character, which is Heisenberg from the acclaimed Breaking Bad, which this blew my mind. Even as a Baudrillardian, I'm looking at this like, there is no real. How can these nihilists try to look at me and tell me, King Leo, there's a real? How can there be a real when even the people that are alive are interacting with dead people, alive people, and fictional people in AI? There is no real. There is no real. It just blew my mind to see the level of memery they're getting into. They're really including Jeffrey Epstein in this stuff, and I'm not sure exactly what called for this, but Jeffrey Epstein, and I'm glad to see this because when Jeffrey Epstein was at all-time high conspiracy theory, remember I used to talk about this. I was like, this is bad for the country. People are speculating too much. It's not healthy. We should wait. I even said we should declare Jeffrey Epstein Day and say he never existed at all, and that we should just have a day for him so that he reminds us to take care of children, But he's making a comeback in the memosphere.
I know you think you can run. You're scared to believe I'm the one, but I just can't let you go. We are Charlie.
Charlie Kirk, rest in peace, my man. You are missed. You literally are missed. People miss you. If this is not confirmation of that, people miss you. And the people who hated you miss you the most. The people that loved you actually love that you're dead so that they can make money. We have a couple more, but this is a recurring segment, so we're going to move on. We have to get to the first important story. We had a little levity there. But now we have to get to, because I want to spend a lot of time on Fishback, man. I'm really interested in that topic. So we're done with Schizo. We're done with Kirk Watch. Call it Kirk Watch. Now we have to get to Venezuela. Okay, this is a big story. As I've said before, for any new people here, I am half Venezuelan. My mother is from Venezuela. My family was there from the founding, but we were on the wrong side of the Revolutionary War. We fought for the Spanish, so we became the villains of history, over there. But we were there for a long time, And there's big news out of Venezuela. Big news. Remember that guy? Donald Trump. Tomorrow he has a special announcement, and I think it may relate to this, but I can't say for sure. So I'm not comfortable making predictions. But he did post an insane tweet that we're going to read about Venezuela. And Venezuela is completely surrounded right now with a total blockade. Now, to Americans that aren't of Latin descent, that may not mean much to you, okay? So you're a Gusano King listener? No, I mean the revolution. We fought against Bolivar. So that's who we fought against. What? I won't even say his name, dude, but like our family member is like the Benedict Arnold of Venezuela. Like he has a wiki page and shit. It's pretty. It was more complicated than people say. Okay, Bolivar wasn't all roses. Okay, he was not a bad guy. I'll go into that another day. Okay, we'll do an AMA or something. Big news out of both of my countries, man, of heritage. My father's from Chile, as I've said before. We have a new president there who worked on the Yes campaign in Chile to keep Pinochet. He's a descendant of a former Waffen, I can't remember if he's SS or not, officer that fled to Chile. His name is Cast. I have never believed in this guy, dude. This guy is just another Piñera. Dude, and I say this for all sides, dude. Boric, I knew was going to be a disaster. Boric is another disaster. And they're all disasters, man. Nothing is going to change. I saw a lot of people being like, oh, there's a Nazi elected in Chile. Nothing's going to change, dude. Nothing is going to change. They'll privatize more fucking state companies. That's it. Anyway, the only reason I bring that up is because Maduro came out and threatened him. It seems like things are heating up. Let's see what President Maduro is saying here. I think this one's just in Spanish, so I'll translate as we go along. But mostly notice Maduro's hat.
Venezuela tiene 25 semanas denunciando, enfrentando y derrotando.
Venezuela has been facing I'm going to interpret, not translate, a formidable enemy for the past 25 weeks.
Una campaña de agresión multidimensional.
An aggressive campaign on multiple sides. But more importantly, look at this here. Look at this king, dude. This is a Baudrillardian master, man. It's him and Nick Fuentes. No war, yes peace. It was a song. Now it's a MAGA hat, dude. It's a MAGA hat. He made his own MAGA hat. It's red with white lettering. His brain is not made for us. What else has he been up to? Now Venezuela is going to compete with NVIDIA. And let's see, he pulled out a 90s computer processor. His brain is not made for us, dude. He's not.
Pronto estaremos haciendo los famosos microchips, eso.
We are going to be making those famous microchips.
Famoso, de NVIDIA.
Those NVIDIA ones, the famous ones.
Aquí los vamos a hacer.
We're going to make them here in Venezuela. Look at, dude, what? The greatest troll of all time, man. The greatest troll.
Para envidia de los envidiosos.
That doesn't translate, but he's saying NVIDIA's going to be jealous, and NVIDIA and jealousy rhymes in Spanish.
Pero a nosotros no va a parar nada ni nadie.
Nothing or no one will stop us. So this is how we went into the weekend. Okay, this is how we went into the weekend with Maduro. Okay, Maduro was doing this stuff, blah, blah, blah. He was also doing this. If you don't know, the national dish of Venezuela for Christmas is ayaca, which is like a tamale, but it's really good. You eat it with, it's called chicken salad. or hen salad would be direct translation. It's really good. My mom is making these soon. So, and you make like hundreds at a time. So this is not unusual. He has the military making fucking tamales. Tamales, not bullets? What? Who has made this argument?
Chávez vive, mi comandante Caribe, un día de camaradería y tradición. La gran familia del 122 Batallón de Caribe nos reunimos con júbilo y espíritu de equipo para honrar la tradición venezolana, la elaboración de la yaca.
While America is spending hundreds of millions of dollars to blockade the whole country, to hijack boats, or what would the legal term be, or to stop delinquent boats, whatever you want to believe. Maduro has the military making tamales for Christmas. I mean, is this man a wizard, or is he a wizard? How can you shoot the guy with a tamale? You become a monster. Anyway, while this is all going on, we have to look at what President Trump said. We'll look at this later. Let me read you this statement. All right, let me make this big. I won't do the Trump voice, but I'll read it with some emphasis. Venezuela is completely surrounded by the largest armada ever assembled in the history of South America. It will only get bigger, and the shock to them will be like nothing they have ever seen before. Until such time as they return to the United States of America all of the oil, land, and other assets that were previously stole from us. Context really quick. Dude, there's no stolen assets. This didn't. Look, there was a wave of nationalization with compensation during the early Chavez period. It was a further consolidation of the National Oil Company. A lot of joint ventures had come in from the outside and they were partially nationalized, but people were paid. Some people were screwed, that's true, and they sued and they lost, or they just didn't get a result. But this is another claim that oil, land, and other assets have been stolen. So Venezuela is not only a drug peddler, but it's a thief. All right. The illegitimate Maduro regime is using oil, from the stolen oil fields to finance themselves. Drug terrorism, human trafficking, murder, and kidnapping, for the theft of our assets, and many other reasons, including terrorism, drug smuggling, and human trafficking. The Venezuelan regime has been designated a foreign terrorist organization. Therefore, today I am ordering a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going into and out of Venezuela. The illegal aliens and criminals that the Maduro regime has sent into the United States during the weak and inept Biden administration are being returned to Venezuela at a rapid pace. America will not allow criminals, terrorists, or other countries to rob, threaten, or harm our nation, and likewise will not allow a hostile regime to take our United States, to take our oil, land, or any other assets. This is so convoluted, it's hard to read. All of which must be returned to the United States immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Listen, man, this is, we have not seen this. The thing is, no one really has a reference for history or cares, but a naval blockade is a big step. Last time this happened was in Cuba in 61. Okay, sorry about that. Not 61. Dude, the Cuban Missile Crisis. 62, sorry. 61 was Bay of Pigs. And the United States surrounded Cuba and turned back Russian ships. So this is a big step. It's a big step. And it's really funny because if you talk to Cubans today in Cuba, they actually think they're still being blockaded rather than it being an embargo. But now he's making a blockade real. And the claim is now not only that Venezuela are drug peddlers, they are also thieves, and they also dump illegals into the U.S. But what else did our Baudrillardian king Donald Trump do today? Watch. You might miss it if you don't watch closely. This is a level of sorcery that I have not seen since the Bush administration. It's 2005 all over again.
Today I'm taking one more step to protect Americans from the scourge of deadly fentanyl flooding into our country. With this historic executive order I will sign today, we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, which is what it is. No bomb does what this is doing. 200 to 300,000 people die every year that we know of. So we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. Today,
This is genius. Whether you agree or disagree with intervention in Venezuela, talking about the method, man, the method. New WMD declared fentanyl. What? Does that mean? What it has me thinking is, has everyone who died of fentanyl, have they been killed by a WMD? Is it on the same level as plutonium, as uranium, as a missile? Did George Floyd, I know there's controversy around it, but he had fentanyl in his system, right? Did he die of a WMD overdose? If you die of a fentanyl overdose now, is it a WMD overdose? What? This is huge. This is a huge step. I have not seen this level of wizardry ever in my life. Have you seen this? Something declared a WMD. And the funny thing is, marijuana at the same time is being pushed down to Schedule 3. And now we have a whole new schedule for drugs. The WMD schedule. Are they going to take cocaine to WMD? Now that drugs are WMDs, I need you to think here, man. This is, a lot of people will hear this and be like, oh, what's the big deal? This is a huge deal. He just made up a whole new weapon of mass destruction. Have you ever seen that in your whole life? My God. I've seen some crazy shit in my life, dude. I've seen the Pope resign. I didn't see it live because I was too little, bro. But skyscrapers brought down with planes. This is on that level. This is crazy. This is the wildest shit I've seen in my life. And anyway, let's see what John Fetterman said, who a lot of Democrats shill because he's reasonable. Let's see what he has to say if he disagrees with Donald Trump at all.
Here and said it's not just about drugs, it's about oil. And they are the whole regime, the whole country is a foreign terror organization, a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going in and out until they return what they stole from us. What did they steal, and what do you make of this?
Yeah, well, what makes it that Iran is involved on that, and Russia's involved on that, and China as well, too. I mean, a lot of those things, that's sanctioned oil right now, and those are the kinds of funds that support regimes like in Iran as well, too. And now, absolutely, right now, it's not a plan to, like, a land war and invade Venezuela and that, but seizing those kinds of oil tankers, and it's undeniable that that's oil that's going to support Iran, and those are the kinds of funds that are used, all kinds of illicit things, so terrorism. So for me, it makes a lot of sense, at least by what I've seen.
Senator,
I don't know what was stolen. John Fetterman doesn't seem to know either. Remember, he's mentally handicapped, so that might not help him. Let's check here really quick on Polymarket. Let's go to the odds. Let's fucking bet on it, man. Let's see, Maduro out 5% by end of year. I might, dude, I would bet on this live, but I have to turn on my VPN. Actually, I wouldn't because that would be illegal. $100 gets you to, dude, Trump has a big announcement tomorrow. Imagine that you can make $100 into $2,000. What? Dude, I think he's cooked. So it's a very interesting time to look at Venezuela. With that, let's move on to a more gossipy story, but it is funny, especially as someone who's called out Erika Kirk from the start. And while I disagree with Candace Owens on most things, I like the effects of what she does. Driving Tim Pool mad was hilarious. She had a summit. This was the Reagan-Gorbachev summit in Reykjavik, but for retards. Okay, this was the low IQ summit. We had Candace Owens and Erika Kirk meeting up to discuss the facts. You know, you have Erika Kirk, the evil woman, on one side, And you have Candace Owens, the black detective lady, on the other side, meeting up to really, really figure out what happened to Charlie Kirk. We already figured it out. He lives on in AI. And her fans were not very happy with what was discovered. Let's see what Candace said on her show. Dude, I've never watched the full episode of this woman's show. If you can watch this, I commend you. I can barely get through Bill Maher. If you can watch Candace Owens, that you really have a sense, you have some fortitude that I don't. So let's watch what Erika Kirk had to say here. I'm sorry, Candace Owens had to say about her meeting with Erika Kirk.
Not know if they were going to be open. I didn't know what Erika's energy was going to be like, if it was going to be more of an argument, if there was going to be legal threats. You guys were telling me not to drink water, so I didn't drink water. Well, I brought my own water, but I didn't drink that water too. It was a lot. There's a lot going on, okay? And the conversation did not know.
Everyone needs a taster. Erika Kirk, if you were thinking, you evil woman, of poisoning the black detective lady, you had another thing coming for you, lady. Because Candace, she's gonna bring her own water. This is, dude, we are at another phase in America, man. It's just,
oh, I get it. You're retarded.
We are so, the IQ has dropped so much. Let's continue what else she had to say here. Here we have a sort of remix that shows her fans' reactions to her discoveries.
They were sort of most upset with obviously a bit of a fever pitch, when I tweeted that it was a godforsaken company and people should not give money to it. And I have to own that. That's aggressive. That is actually aggressive in the retrospect. I was very frustrated. And I don't know, I felt like we weren't getting any answers and there were so many lies. And then I was getting attacked for asking all meaningful questions that was within their capacity to answer. And I told you, I definitely, my problem in life is that I can rise to anger very quickly. I shared with them that I really felt like I was under attack for telling the truth from the very beginning, like casually when I mentioned the Catholicism thing. Like, what was that about? I was like, look, I say something in a tribute to him. Alex Clark and Andrew Colvett then jump onto a podcast and they're doing that weird interview, which is
this is, in case you couldn't read them, dude, look at these comments, man. Look at how she's driving her fans nuts. I didn't even know this type of person existed. I guess I just don't interact with them. What about the planes in Egypt? Sell out, done with, Candace. Do not put this on us, Candace. When you cultivate this audience, I'm sure this exists. This type of person, man. Because there's no way. There's no, I feel sick to my stomach. So Candace Owens did the investigation and her fans don't like what she found. And they turn on her and turn to Ian Carroll. It's like a staircase descending into stupidity and stupidity. You don't think it can get lower, but it gets lower and lower. Let's catch up with the chat real quick, man. We finally get to catch up with the chat. How you doing, Ephra? The trolling is one-to-one very smart. And Maduro's trolling, man. I completely agree. I agree. Mystery Lou says, aren't there rare earth minerals in Venezuela? There might be. Venezuela has everything. There might be iridium and stuff like that over there. I wouldn't be surprised. They have copper. They have gold, like one of the largest gold deposits in the world. There's everything over there. Advanced Conspiracy Bot said, looks like the inside of a TI calculator. Yeah. Mike John is here. How you doing, sir? Joe Inflation, Biden, and drunk Kamala Harris got abused by China and other foreign countries that let them bring illegals in and tons of toxic, deadly drugs. Shame on those crooked Democrats. All right, sir. Fuad says the numbers are about to jump from 40 people to 200 because of the thought activity watching. Thought activity watching? What do you mean? So, all right. I think we're pretty caught up. Yeah, and Mystery Lou says, Erika Kirk is Reagan, Candace Owens is Gorbachev. Dude, it's a summit for the mentally handicapped. Here she apologized for what she's done, which I didn't expect Candace to do, but in very Candace fashion, this is how she apologized.
They were sort of most upset with obviously a bit of a fever pitch, when I tweeted that it was a godforsaken company and people should not give money to it. And I have to own that. That's aggressive. That is actually aggressive in the retrospect. I was very frustrated. And I don't know. I felt like we weren't getting any answers and there were so many lies. And then I was getting attacked for asking all meaningful questions that was within their capacity to answer. And I told you, I definitely, my problem in life is that I can rise to anger very quickly.
So she's sorry, but she's not sorry that she basically bankrupted TPUSA. Great stuff. And to end, let's see here how she introed her show, which was just Candace. Candace, baby. Candace, you're driving everyone nuts.
Okay, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. I just want to say Shabbat Shalom to everybody back at home. Happy Hanukkah to our greatest friends and allies. And, you know, this is a good time to mention that Israel does have a right to defend itself. Tucker Carlson is Adolf Hitler. And TikTok does need to be purchased by the Mossad. It's just how I'm feeling today. I am not different. Maybe you are different. Welcome back to Candace. Okay, you guys are crazy. You guys are absolutely crazy. The amount of people who attacked me for sending out a tweet being like, hey, I'm good, I'm alive. We had a very productive conversation. And they were like, she got the call. She got the call. She's betrayed us. She's doing something else. I can't believe it. This has all just been a show.
That's enough. I can watch it. It's, I guess we didn't learn anything. I guess Candace was not able to solve the mystery. Black detective lady was not capable of doing it. Fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. Who killed Charlie Kirk? And you know what? In a lot of ways, we all killed Charlie Kirk. So great stuff, man. Great stuff. I'm glad that they had a productive meeting. I'm jealous that she got so close to Barry Weiss, you know, my wife, which we're going to talk about now, because now we made it on time. Perfect. We have an hour and 20 minutes to get to this. Let's get into James Fishback. For anyone that's not aware, I read an article about this guy. You could say it's Oppo research. You could say it's crazy. The reason I bring him up, and we're going to have to watch a Nick Fuentes clip to really understand what's going on, is that he's running for governor of my state. So I feel a personal stake in this. Let's see what they're saying. This is a normal news channel here in Tampa Bay. Let's see what they have to say.
Name officially jumping into Florida's 2026 race for governor. James Fishback, a 30-year-old investment firm CEO who helped advise this year's federal DOGE efforts, announced his candidacy today at the state capitol. He will face Republican contenders like Congressman Byron Donalds and former House Speaker Paul Rayner. The governor, Ron DeSantis, is term limited, so the seat is open, and Fishback says his campaign is about Florida's affordability crisis.
We need a fighter who is going to preserve Ron DeSantis' historic victories, who's going to keep Florida free from DEI, radical transgenderism, Soros-backed prosecutors, dare I say voter fraud, we know that very well nationally, and protect our state.
Congressman Donalds has the endorsement of President Donald Trump. In a statement today, his team said anyone running against him is an anti-Trump rhino and will get crushed in the Republican primary. Name officially.
So he's made a huge splash because he's been very aggressive. He called Byron Donalds a slave. Byron Donalds, if you're not aware, is a black American. He called him a slave of AIPAC. Mystery was asking if he's white. I've seen speculation that this man is Colombian, half Colombian. And I will say, from my elite knowledge of Latin America, this physiognomy is very Colombian. It's very close to Venezuelan. You'll meet a lot of Venezuelans that look like this, okay? But Venezuelans wear different glasses. Colombians, you'll see them wear these types of glasses. Venezuelans will wear more metal-framed, thin glasses. You'll see like 30-year-old Venezuelan guys like this. And as you can tell from his beard growth, he could be Colombian. He does look Colombian. This is a specific type of Colombian guy, because Colombians, I won't get into my whole Colombian racism or whatever, because, you know, we all hate each other, but we all love each other, right? But he has this is a type of Colombian, the slender Colombian, this skinny type of Colombian, because there are other Colombians that are bigger. So I don't want to say if he's Colombian or not, but the beard is looking Colombian. The glasses are looking Colombian. The hair looks Colombian. His hair is black, maybe brown. My hair is actually brown, or at least my mother insists. Everyone else says it's black. So this is a very mestizo physiognomy. I'm not hating on him for it. I have no problem with that, dude. We've had plenty of other types of guys as our governor. Why not have time for a half Colombian? And he's been wilding, okay? He's been wilding out here. He's been endorsing the Groypers, endorsing Nick Fuentes. What? And Nick Fuentes has been playing footsie with him to an extent. Let's get into it. So now that you know he's running, and you have an idea of what he's running on, which is this affordability stuff, which is why I compare him a little bit to Zoran. We have to look at what he's actually doing and saying, okay? He had picked up a major endorsement this week from Asmongold and also from Sagar and Jetty. I'm getting better. Mr. Elu says I can take him. Dude, I would never run for this stuff, dude. This state, the political machine is very, very good. And Full Hat says Q+. Oh, you mean that I don't think he's gay, Full Hat. I don't think so. But we'll get into the allegations around him, though, because there are some allegations. Let's see what Sagar and Jetty had to say about him, because this is an implicit endorsement, what he says here.
Nobody's expecting Florida to become a blue state anytime soon, but in general, what should we look for? Like, we've got the Florida GOP primary going on right now, Fishback, Byron Donalds. You've still got DeSantis there at the top. Anything that you've got your eye on?
That is a huge endorsement, because Fishback, if you don't know about Florida, let me explain. We have a very well-oiled political machine here. Governor DeSantis has not endorsed anyone yet. He has his lieutenant governor that he might endorse. He also has Byron Donalds, who Trump has already endorsed. His wife might run. This is a long shot for Fishback. This is very difficult to do. You cannot win this in Florida. Even if you could, are they going to let you? That's the main thing in Florida. These Republicans, man, they have this state on lock. It wasn't like this before. We were a purple state, but it's impossible, okay? Efra says he looks like a nerd. He does look a little nerd. Yeah. Hey, boy, I'm not the nerd. Let's see here. This is the last Nick Fuentes clip that I've seen him talking about Fishback. And we're showing this for a purpose, because he did interact with the Groypers this week.
Charlie Sheen sent $30. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, well done on Piers. Funny, sharp, stood on business. Epic. Thoughts on James Fishback?
Still have no thoughts on him.
Sent $25.
Still have no
Nasty
thoughts on that. I don't know. He seems cool. He said that I'm a patriot, which I appreciated, but I haven't done enough research. I don't know that I want to weigh in. It might hurt him, but I'll have to take a look, and I'll let you know, okay? When I figure it out, I'll let you know.
Sent $25. Charlie Sheen sent $30.
Is this an endorsement? Is it a non-endorsement? I don't know. I think that Nick, he has to try to carefully, given his baggage, in terms of endorsing a candidate, okay? And I don't know if he actually wants him to win or if he doesn't. I would be skeptical. I would be highly skeptical of this guy myself. So I'm not surprised to see him take a step back. He worded this very carefully. Let's watch again.
Thoughts on that? I don't know. He seems cool. He said that I'm a patriot, which I appreciated, but I haven't done enough research.
He said that Nick Fuentes is a patriot, which is kind of a big deal. You know, this is the first Groyper election in that sense. I don't think it's a very fair one, because he's not a major candidate, but this is a test of the Groyper ideology. If the main guy is saying that Nick Fuentes is a patriot, no one else would really do that, I don't think. And Nick himself is saying, look, man, I may like what you're doing, but I'm not going to get involved until I know, because I don't want you to get backed off. All right, interesting stuff. I mean, the way he's talking, we're going to see what he's posting. Okay, so I don't think he really gives a shit. Let's continue here. He got this major endorsement, which is Asmongold, who's a popular streamer. Asmongold, who's from Florida, but lives in Austin, is endorsing a candidate for Florida. I literally, dude, it's brain rot all over the world. Even if you like the guy, I never said I endorse Zoran Mamdani, because it's not my problem. It's not my business. I don't live there. I won't suffer the consequences of it, whether positive or negative. Why? Florida is the whore of the world. Florida has opened itself so that anyone can come in and comment on our elections. PBD, fucking Asmongold, Rick Scott, he's a senator now, and he's still telling people, he's taking out ads in New York telling them to move to Florida. It's the whore of the world, dude. It is Cuba under Batista here in Florida. Everyone gets their piece. Let's see what Asmongold had to say.
I'm an unapologetic Christian who believes that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And I'm a proud American who will never apologize for our history. In the coming
oh my God.
months, I'm going to meet as many Florida voters as I can where they live, work,
Who is
and
this
pray.
guy?
I'll visit all 67 counties because Florida's next governor has to be someone you can see, talk to, and even debate with. I look forward to seeing you soon. My name is James Fishback, and I approve this message because Florida is our home, America is our birthright, and we will never let them steal it from us. I'm an unapologetic.
So thank you, Asmongold, for endorsing a candidate who you won't have to live under, but I appreciate it. Okay, so this kind of stuff gets on my nerves, dude. Like, you don't live here. If you don't live here, why are you talking about it? You don't live here, you know? You can talk about it, but why are you endorsing? I live here. I wouldn't endorse anyone because they're all crooks. They're all criminals. Let's catch up with the chat. Mystery Lou says, Norman Dami didn't want Norman Finkelstein's endorsement. Right, that's true. If you're strategic. But this guy, and we're going to get into the Zoran comparison because it's there. Boat says that's called freedom. Dude, freedom to endorse a candidate that you don't, you might as well endorse a candidate in a municipal city in Costa Rica. What is the point of this? What is the point? Mr. Elo says, me for governor of Florida. Dude, if they let me be governor of Florida, dude, this is going to be a total like Stalinist redoing. We are going to fucking redo the Hoover Dike that we have around Lake Okeechobee. We are going to eliminate the Orange Grove killers. We are going to do things to you people that have never been thought of. Like, if I were in charge of Florida, dude, this state, I would immediately invade the southern part of Georgia because they've been suing us for water rights. I would do all. I can't be governor. I can't. Effer says, I don't trust nerds. Yeah. So let's continue here. This is Fishback. This is the endorsements he's picked up. He's also picked up this endorsement here from this young guy. I'm not going to make fun of him. I see a lot of people making fun of him for his weight. This is a young guy who's from Florida. He actually lives here, so I won't give him shit for it. He's a young, like, overweight, groiper type of guy. And, you know, look, and I'll be big for this. Look, we've all been screwed in Florida, man. All of our governors. I didn't think it could get worse than Rick Scott. And now I'm like, can we get Jeb Bush back, please? All of our governors have been one worse after the other. If you care about this place, if you live here. And I'm not saying I would prefer a Democrat. I don't care. But the people who are in charge are fucking up this state. And if you're young, man, if you're from Florida and you were born in the 90s or the 2000s, even if you're older, my parents say it, man. They're like, dude, we couldn't afford a house here today. Everyone knows this state is going down the drain, that it sucks if you are from here. And you're just going to have this little mini Dubai. Look, everyone's pissed. And I get it. I'm just very reluctant because I'm going to be honest with you, dude. I was very hopeful for DeSantis at first. He was actually kind of cool. He took on the sugar lobby. He took on the water lobby. He was doing cool shit at first. He was actually protecting our natural wildlife. He was doing really cool shit. And then he was like, everyone move here. And I was, fucking hate you. I hate you. Like, why would you do this to us? You know? So before you guys judge this guy, look, he may be a groiper type. That's fine. I don't care. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. He may be a little overweight. That's not fine. He should lose the weight. That's not good for you. But I understand his frustration, dude. As a young guy in Florida, I get it. We are all pissed off. The Democrats don't have any options either, and the Republicans don't have options. They all suck. So let's see what he has to say. Bohat says, you should be very grateful that you reside in Florida. I love Florida, man. I really like it. Mr. Elu says, my dad lives in Tallahassee. I'm going to be up there soon, man. I'll be up there on the 26th. Build a wall around Florida. I wish. So let's see what he has to say. This is a Fuentes aligned kind of guy. Let's see.
The fight for Florida governor is going to be the most decisive race of the next 10 years. And I'm going to tell you why in this video. Because right now what's happening is you have an establishment candidate who represents everything we hate about this country, backed by Zionism, a corporate shill, wants to build data centers and financialize the entire economy of Florida, going up against a grassroots, primarily online, younger, professional, average American who actually cares about this country, who's not taking big PAC money, who's not taking money from the Zionists, from the Israel lobby. This is going to be the first of many battlegrounds in 2026, 2027.
I'm going to pause here and say this. Look, normally we don't address this topic because the politics don't really affect me, right? But this whole Israel-Palestine thing. This guy brings up the Zionism, right? The Zionism of Byron Donalds, who is a guy who loves Israel or whatever. As I said when Zoran was running, who cares, right? I mean, it's a local election. It's a governor. What does it matter? It actually does kind of matter for people in Florida because Ron DeSantis and a lot of the counties too, man. Miami-Dade County did it too. They're buying these shit Israeli bonds. They've been doing this the whole time DeSantis has been in power. And I'm speaking from a finance POV, not even like an opinion on the war or anything. They pay shit. They pay nothing. And we keep buying these stupid bonds. It drives me nuts. We could have put all the money in Bitcoin. We are getting paid, I think it's like 5% to fund Israel in Florida. This is actually a big deal here because it's like, dude, people are struggling here. Can you put the money in something productive, something that has a higher rate than an internet bank? It's insane. He could have put it in the S&P. So that's look, obviously he has other reasons for it because he's a Groyper type. You know, he doesn't like the Israel war and all this stuff. And that's fine. But for me, from a finance POV, it drives me fucking nuts, man. It drives me nuts. They keep taking our tax dollars and putting them in low interest bearing bonds. It's insane. It's insane. And at that point, you might as well buy fucking treasury bonds. Why are we buying the Israeli ones? Anyway, let's continue.
In 2028. But this one might be the most important because if James Fishback wins the Florida primary next year in August 2026, he will inspire 50 more just like him to think maybe we can fight back against this giant machine that's ensnared our country. I've said before that we're not voting our way out of this, and that's completely 1,000% true. If all you think voting is going to a poll every 4 years and ticking a box. Voting means you have to get off your ass and organize. We have over 1,000 volunteers for the Fishback campaign signed up. We will be knocking doors in Florida. James Fishback is going to be visiting 67 counties, all the counties in Florida. Okay, haha, 6-7. But for real, he's actually going to do that. He's not apologizing for who he is, and he's speaking a language that modern Americans understand. We're tired of apologizing. We're tired of feeling guilty about being who we are. We're not apologizing for our history. We're not apologizing for being an American in 2025. And watch what happens, because James Fishback has the establishment scared. I basically pulled up on this guy and said, hey, let me help you run your campaign. Let me make some edits for you, whatever, because I was so inspired. I haven't been paid a dime. I've invested so much time and energy into this. And even if we lose, this fight will live on. It is the first volley in a just massive artillery bombardment against the establishment. And I hope they're watching this video.
Look, you may disagree with the guy. He may not be speaking your language. I get it. I actually do, dude. If anyone is attacking Ron DeSantis, I'm happy. I am happy because he's been a disaster. I am happy about that. And he's speaking to all the things that people that are from here care about. Not James Fishback. We're going to get into him. But this young man here, I understand why he's inspired. They don't care about us in Florida. People from here, they don't care about us. Now, apologizing for our history, I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about here. I think we did change some stuff. DeSantis pardoned some wrongfully accused people that were lynched. I think the Grove 5 is what they're called, the Groveland 5. But I guess we took down some Confederate statues. It wasn't like a huge deal. This is something that I'm a little confused about in the sense of a lot of Florida's race relations. We have not had a racial riot since the 90s. That was significant. Sure, we've had a protest, but a riot. The last riot was in St. Petersburg. Because if you're not aware, St. Petersburg is this city on the west coast of Florida. It's a beautiful place. And there's this radical African movement called the Uhuru. They're Black Americans, but they say that they're African. And they're cool guys, dude. I've been to their headquarters. If you go to St. Pete, you can listen to their radio station. They play like African nationalist stuff. They got raided a few years ago because they openly support Russia and Venezuela. So the FBI raided them. And these guys have been in St. Pete forever. They're the Uhuru movement. Everyone knows them. They're like a quirky character. Some people don't like them. Most people just don't give a shit about them. They're fine, you know? And look, that was the last major riot in 92 because some young Black guy was shot in a traffic stop. They took down a helicopter. It was pretty fucking wild, man. There's a movie called Lauren Cass that talks about it. And look, since then, things have been pretty chill. We had an 80 riot in Miami in 1980, which was pretty big. But it's been pretty chill. We don't really have a lot of the racial issues that you see across the country in Florida. We didn't have any riots during George Floyd. We didn't have anything crazy. So I'm just a little confused on that racial rhetoric, and we'll continue to get into that. Before that, let's get into, since he mentioned the edits, I think we have this queued up here. Let's look at this first. Because James Fishback is a master debater. Okay? He wrote an article for the Free Press, Barry Weiss's publication, about how debate clubs were being taken over by the woke mind virus a few years ago. We're going to get into Barry Weiss later. And he has been in debate his whole life. His whole life. He was on Jubilee. He debated Destiny. We'll see that later too. And here he is. This was part of the campaign, I assume, before the campaign was announced, because this video is kind of old, okay? And here he's talking about Barack Obama and Brickell. By the way, he's from Broward. If you're from Florida, dude, he's a 954 boy. He's not a 305 boy. DJ Frisco, 954. You know, like, is he Broward is known for being like the blacker area of South Florida. So where the good strip clubs are at, you know, it's a nice place. I like Broward. They have a really good hotel there and stuff. It's a nice place, but it's funny to know James Fishback is from there because it's like, that's what it is now. Everyone's like, oh yeah, Broward, you know, like that's where the Black people stay at, you know? So not the Haitians. The Haitians, they're in Little Haiti and in West Palm Beach, but it's pretty funny. So he's from Broward, you know. And Miami kind of like, they kind of don't rate Broward, so it's like, you're a Broward boy running, and he's doing an interview in Brickell. So let's see what he had to say about Obama. Before that, let's catch up with a chat. I hate everything's here. How you doing, sir? Mr. Elu says, obesity has 1,000 comorbidities. Absolutely. Forehead says, so are you asking for help? I'm confused. Oh, about Ozempic? I think Ozempic, once it goes generic, I don't know if there's a generic yet. It will be cheap because everyone's going to be on it. The Uhuru. Yes, the Uhuru. And everything says ragtag group of misfits. Who do you mean? Do you mean like Floridians, dude? Because of that, dude, Florida has always been the Florida cracker, which is not a slur here. The white man. Black people, Black Floridians, Cubans, Spanish, Italians. That's been Florida, you know, and Haitians to an extent. So it's always been a mixed pot, like even in its development. And everything says here and why people protest about anything but the MT. Mr. Elu says, writing for the Free Press and Barry Weiss is sus. Absolutely. And we're going to get into that. Let's see here. Before he was campaigning, what he had to say about Obama.
Do you think that this person is a patriot or a traitor?
I think Barack Hussein Obama is a traitor to our country. I think Barack Hussein Obama, what he did to undermine President Trump on the way out as president, and then when he essentially became the shadow president to Joe Biden, he spied on President Trump. He trafficked the Russia hoax, which hung over as a cloud on President Trump's first term. That is not what you do. When you are the president, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, and a new person comes in from a new party, you have to be honest and truthful, not try to actively manipulate and undermine that person to hurt the American people as a result.
Do you think?
Now, Obama won Florida twice, I believe. Look that up, dude. I think Obama won Florida twice. Obama won Florida twice. I think everyone hates Obama at this point, right? Yeah, but he did win Florida twice. I don't think it hurts him, but I'm kind of like, yeah, dude, I think everyone hates Obama at this point, you know? Obviously, it's like the Barack Hussein. You know what he's doing that. But so you can see here, we start with, he started this campaign on Jubilee and on street interviews. So it's pretty good to see that this is a guy who somewhat understands social media. Okay, he's not Zoran elite level, but he somewhat understands it. Let's continue here. I think here we have the edits that his team is putting together. Yeah, here are the edits. Let's see his hype edits.
We refuse to be the generation of renters. We refuse to accept that billionaire private equity firms like Blackstone come into our communities and buy up entire neighborhoods of homes and immediately take them off the market and put them back up for rent. That's not the American dream. It's not the American dream to allow companies using overseas capital from China at a preferential tax rate to come in and to buy homes under our feet and to turn us into a country of renters. We refuse to be the generation of renters. The American dream is impossible unless you own the dirt under your feet.
As a Floridian, I will tell you, that resonates with me. It does resonate with me. I fucking hate these fucking built to rent things. This is a plague on Florida. Everything is built to rent now. And they're empty. They're empty because they're investment properties. It resonates with me. All right, let's continue. Let's continue. This is a message that all Floridians will agree with. Let's continue with the hype edits. What else we got? What else we got? He has a good team. They put in some interesting edits.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is James Fishback. I am a fourth-generation Floridian. I drove over here last night from Madison County, about an hour east of here, and I just filed my paperwork with the Supervisor of Elections right down the street. I'm officially a candidate for governor, a Republican candidate to succeed Ron DeSantis.
Republican James Fishback joins us.
New candidate for governor, James Fishback.
James Fishback.
I will never meet with them. I will never talk with them. I will never talk with someone who works with them. I will never talk with someone who talks with someone who works for them. I'm never going to get the call because I'm never going to pick up the phone. I am here to represent America first.
And I was really moved by a poll that came out this week that put me within a 10-point margin of Byron Donalds, who's been in this race for 9 months. I've been in this race now for 11 days. 4 million views in our announcement video, over 1,000 volunteers.
Pretty good hype edit. By the way, let me double check this. Where is Madison County? Because that was in Tallahassee where I went to. That's the old state capital. Madison County is. What I find fascinating about this campaign is that it's very panhandle based. No, Madison County, Florida. Yes, okay. So it's not exactly in the panhandle, Madison County. It's right here. Yes, okay. But look, this area here, oh yeah, we can see the map. Look, so Florida is this big thing here. All right, we have the Keys. This is the Conch Republic, as it's known cheekily, or Monroe County. This is South Florida here. This is West Florida. West Florida is going to be a lot more retirees, but there's also, they shot spring breakers here in Sarasota at the new school. There's Tampa. The major economic centers are Orlando, Miami, and Tampa. Okay, these are the most important ones. St. Augustine is a beautiful city, old Spanish. Jacksonville is an important city, but it's kind of a shithole to be honest. But I like it. I would buy a house in Jacksonville. And here we have, most people forget about these people here. This is where I'm going on the 26th. The Panhandle. Okay, he has pulled a lot of people from the Panhandle, from what I can see. This is the forgotten part of Florida. They're in Central Time. Okay, no one knows about these guys. Okay. I haven't been, this is the only part of Florida I haven't been to, the Panhandle. I've been all the way to Tallahassee. I never went over here. I'm going to actually do it, okay? So, literally in 2 weeks. Look, the Panhandle here, this is a poor area. This is an area that doesn't do very well, okay? There's a military base which provides much of the employment. There's nice beaches. If you're young and you want to go get some Alabama girls, you go down to Panama City. You go up to Panama City Beach during spring break. Pensacola, historic city, but there's not much economic activity there. Okay, it's all military. That's pretty much it. And I think it's interesting to see the Panhandle actually assert itself through James Fishback, because these guys are kind of forgotten. They're kind of an afterthought for a lot of people. And you know, the most famous export is the actor who plays Jack Reacher. You know, and I have no hate for the Panhandle, dude. I really want to go there. It's supposed to be a beautiful place. but it has been economically underdeveloped. Meanwhile, here, this is all hell. This is all the worst area of Florida because of all the new development. It's terrible. Okay. All of this is now terrible. I love it, but it's way too overdeveloped. Okay. Yes. Mr. Elu says the Redneck Riviera. This is what this is. The Redneck Riviera. Let's catch up with the chat here a little bit. We get Boondocks love. I agree. Boondocks, great show, guys. Mr. Elu says, I had family friends in Jacksonville and I liked it too. Yeah, it's nice. It just has some shitty parts. Full Hat says, fat loss drug for everyone, paid for by the taxpayer dollars. Why? Well, I think taxpayer dollars pay for it regardless, Full Hat. But I think it actually would be more convenient for the healthcare system, sir, because there's a lot of comorbidities with obesity, like heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, all that stuff comes from obesity. It would actually reduce the cost of healthcare, I think. Jacksonville has some nice areas. I agree. I never think the only person I find interesting running for governor in New York is Larry Sharpe, but he has no chance of winning. I met Larry Sharpe, dude. He was a nice guy when I met him, but I don't think he has a shot at winning. Mr. Elu says, I'm from Alabama. Oh, I've never been, dude. I really want to check it out. I might check it out while I'm up here, but I have a full schedule. I want to see the most I can of this area. And everything. So are you saying that from experience, Leo? What exactly? Jacksonville? Jacksonville, I say from experience. But this whole area is urban sprawl, dude. Tampa and Orlando, this is all being developed in between. And it's terrible because it's a beautiful part of the state. And they're just destroying it, you know? So that's why it's a huge issue, okay? And I feel for these panhandle types, okay? Let's continue here. Efra says, but what about the charming smile Mamdami has? I don't see it in him, no homo. Efra, I agree with you, and we're going to get into it. My producer and I are... It's a joke. Okay, we're calling him the grapist candidate. All right, so the grapist, you know. Let's continue here. The Alabama girls. I actually, dude, because I've never been up there, but people were always like, dude, you gotta come up to the Panhandle. That's where the Alabama girls are. That's where you get the white girls, because everyone goes to Miami Beach and it's like Latina and black girls, but it's like you want to go get the white girls up there, you know, because Latinos they fetishize that to an extent. But I've never been up there. So let's see more of his edits here.
If we're going to play this game of immigrants are good, is one immigrant?
Hang on, let me start that over, dude. All the audios are off.
If we're going to play this game of immigrants are good, is one immigrant good? I don't know, maybe Elon Musk. But if it's 100 immigrants, is it 1 million? You want to have 1 billion people here? We have to draw the line somewhere. I draw the line right here at the integer known as 0, complete immigration moratorium. I will direct the Board of Governors to direct every public university to raise the tuition for both future and existing foreign students to $1 million a year. And so I say it genuinely to the foreign students, go make your country great. We got to take care of ours. We got to protect the people who actually are from here, who have given everything to this country. It is their country. It is their birthright. I'm never going to apologize for that.
Even this, dude, even this resonates with me. Why? Because if you're from Florida, dude, I think the last time I checked the statistic, Joe Biden flew the most people that were border crossers to Miami. Of the whole country, they were flying them everywhere. They flew the most to Miami. Okay? And dude, it was too much. And they were all Venezuelan, so don't call me racist. It's my people, you know? And I'm like, bro, where are we supposed to live? These Venezuelans are everywhere, you know? And I was like, what is going on? So Florida, a lot of people are fed up because Florida's a very immigrant-friendly place. But you'll talk to people who have been here, and they're like, look, man, we've always had immigrants. There's no problem, dude. Apopka, there's a bunch of Mexican people over there, and they're cool. You know, they're working in agriculture for the most part. Miami has a lot of Cubans. Doral has a lot of Venezuelans. It's a very immigrant-friendly state. Orlando has a bunch of Puerto Ricans. Orlando's a Puerto Rican and black city traditionally, and white, of course, white cracker. So, but we were all like, this is too many people. This is too many people. And in addition to that, the university problem is huge, bro. It's huge. I'm not saying this as a bullshitter. I experienced it. I went to UM. Okay, UM's a shit. UM was a waste of time. Okay, University of Miami was a waste of time. But it was a ripoff because I was surrounded by, and they were cool people. I made friends. Dude, I visited friends I made there. Okay, in Saudi Arabia with Saudis and with Chinese people, and they were all cool. But their government was paying for them. My Saudi friend told me, dude, they're paying all my tuition. And so we in Florida, they don't want us there. So they raise their prices for people that are from here. So all of our universities are essentially being colonized by foreign governments that just pay for people to study here. And it makes it hell for anyone that wants to study in Florida. And that's what most of us have to do, okay? And I'm not some rich kid, okay? I had to pay for UM. I paid for it. It was a pain in the ass. I had to take a loan from my dad. I had to pay him back. I'm not some rich kid. I only had Florida Bright Futures for my undergrad. That was for my grad school. And it sucked, okay? And there's a perverse incentive because you would see the Chinese students, they would all cheat because you can't kick them out because they have a dependency on the government of China. So they don't give a shit about people from here, the universities. This is a problem in every Florida university. So I understand where he's coming from, okay? I'm not saying I fully agree. Look, but it is true. You have to raise the tuition on them, not on us. If they really want to be here, they have to pay more. It's their government paying for it, you know? Let's catch up with the chat before we move on. Mr. Elu says, Matt Iglesias, 1 billion Americans. Matt Iglesias has a Florida connection, man. His grandfather was an anarchist activist planting bombs in Tampa. Howdy, Dolinos here. How you doing? There are cool cabins in Florida up by Alabama. I'm going to go see those. Thank you. But they are on the agenda. I'm going to go see some cool stuff. Everything says, I show pity towards Mamdani a little bit because I'm sure his parents programs him from an earlier age. He never had his own thoughts. Oh, red diaper baby is what you're saying? I get what you mean. Mr. Elu, I'm sorry. Efra says, university in general seems to be a ripoff. It really is. It really is. Mr. Elu says, I got a full ride for undergrad and loans for grad school. Exactly. The only advantage I had is I borrowed from my dad, but I had to pay him back. So I saved on interest, but it was a pain in the ass because I was paying these huge payments because I wanted to pay him back quickly, you know? So I'm not saying this from an out of touch position. So let's continue here with more Fishback edits. So you can see the appeal. This is why I'm showing them to you because this is actually made by the young man we saw earlier, the Groiper.
We don't want you telling the white students to apologize to the black students. And we don't want you telling the black students that there's something somehow wrong with them. They are created in God's image. Every single one of them is capable of greatness.
So it's a cool message. In my upbringing, we didn't really have interracial fights at school. I don't know. Maybe I went to a better school. Maybe it happens at other schools. Miami's a very segregated place just by geography. So you have a lot of mixture if you go, like I used to drive 40 minutes to school. It fucking sucked. Okay. So I don't really see this as a huge deal. I did not know how public school was still going after I left. I heard that there was some of this CRT stuff. So I'm sure this appeals to some parents that had to see this. I never saw it myself. Okay. Let's continue here. But you understand where it's coming from. I just don't understand the racial thing because we really don't have racial problems here. Let's continue.
I will never meet with them. I will never talk with them. I will never talk with someone who works with them. I will never talk with someone who talks with someone who works for them. I'm never going to get the call because I'm never going to pick up the phone. I am here to represent America first.
Now, this one's important because look at the backgrounds. They're not all Florida. Look, we do have the Homestead Air Force Base where we have F-16s. We do have monster trucks. We have NASCAR, but we don't really have this. We have agriculture, but not like this. We have a lot of cows actually, but they're trying to make it a national thing. Obviously, we have military bases, but why are we putting aircraft carriers? NASA obviously has a connection, so it's a well-made hype edit. It's cool, and this is in reference to the Israeli lobby, which, as I told you, is important because I don't want to keep buying Israeli bonds because we're getting ripped off. Let's continue here.
I got a lot of flack for saying that Byron Donalds was a slave, but I'm not going to apologize for it. If he wants me to stop calling him a slave, he can give the money back to AIPAC.
Dude, I hate Byron Donalds. I know it's a little uncouth to call the black guy running a slave, but it is pretty it's kind of funny. You know, we had when Andrew Gillum was running for governor, Ron DeSantis got in trouble because he said that he was monkeying around and They made it a bigger thing than it actually was. But calling Byron Donalds a slave to AIPAC. What's your name? Byron! Yeah. Oh my God, dude. That's pretty funny.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, the slave mentality, the slave mind.
And as I said, it matters. It matters because we are pissed out at these Israeli bonds, man. I don't want to make 5%. It's my fucking tax money.
Building. Stop.
Now this one's interesting here because of the quote, the quote tweet. Purely personal account, but I saw an IRL who loves Mandami repost this TikTok, which is probably the first time a Florida politician has reversed course on the unlimited building and mass in-country migration to Florida. This is, dude, this is, again, and this is why he is comparable to Mamdani, although he does not have it, in my opinion. Dude, if a Mamdani voter can see it, we can all see it.
Stop building. Stop the overdevelopment. Stop endlessly building and then inviting the entire country to be here. I have real disagreements with Rick Scott. Rick Scott ran an advertisement on a banner plane over New York City before the mayoral race that said hate socialism us too move to Florida. I'm going to use my messaging to stop inviting the whole world and the whole country to move here because Florida is full.
As a Floridian, love it. Great stuff. However, it's going to get complicated. We're going to see why, because that's great rhetoric. I love it. I hate the overdevelopment. It is a pain in the ass. Here he is again on that same point.
I'm sorry. On Ellis Island, you didn't show up and they didn't hand you an EBT card with an Obama phone. All right, so cut the crap. We don't want any more illegal immigrants. We don't want any more legal immigrants. Florida is full. I'm sorry. On Ellis Island, you didn't show up and they didn't hand you an EBT card with an Obama phone.
He was really feeling himself. They didn't hand you an EBT card and an Obama phone on Ellis Island. They gave you a tenement. You know, like, it's pretty funny. Look, Florida is full. That's the message that I'm going with, that it's like, all right, cool. I agree with you. Maybe the rhetoric is a little ugly, but Florida is full. That's true. That's true. He was doing an Obama impression of Mr. Elu. He was. Let's catch up with the chat before we move on here, because now we're getting to the important stuff, okay? Mr. Elu says, actually, I got into a PhD program for my first year before getting kicked out. Oh, boy. Well, that was probably the best thing to happen to you. Fadi Dolino says, I went to college in Daytona and made Saudi friends whose government was paying for them to go to flights. At least it wasn't in Venice, you know, where the 9/11 was portrayed. But I'm not surprised, Fadi Dolino. I know what you're talking about. When you were in Daytona, did you check out in Daytona, dude? Underrated museum. I've never been. Batista, when he left Cuba, brought all of his stolen artworks. Like, it was stolen, paid for with bad funds, and they're all on display in Daytona Beach. It's pretty cool. Fuad says, yeah, no need to learn to land a plane, just want to know how to fly and control it. Y'all are actually celebrating the 9/11 tragedy. We're not celebrating it. That's terrible. I Everything says, not unenlightened. It went hard. He does go kind of hard. He does, you know. And Mr. Elu says, doing an Obama impression while criticizing Obama. We're going to get into the impression because it's important. And I Everything says, you got to keep the same energy on the debate stage. Well, we're going to see what the energy is. So here he said this. Let's see what he had to say about Nicholas J. Fuentes, the new king.
Right. I mean, if you're sitting and watching Aiden Ross all day or some of these Twitch streamers, that's very different than, I'll tell you the truth, I found the audience of young men who follow and watch Nick Fuentes to be actually incredibly informed and insightful and very patriotic young men. To be completely honest. Yes. Now, that's very different than the audience watching Fresh and Fit, but I think something has to be said about the young men.
Hey, some of them are based too, okay? Just mostly on the feminist stuff. But
I love the soundboard when Myron hits the sounds. No, it's not a dig on Myron, right? It's just what kind of audience, what kind of following do you have? And look, I'm going to be completely honest. I probably shouldn't say this, but I think Nick's following is actually really impressive. There's a lot of young men who are patriotic, who are well-informed, who know our history, which is why they are so frightened by the current path that we are on. And the sooner we can accept that and stop letting the left and the right, stop letting George Soros and Larry Ellison divide us and convince us that certain people we should not listen to, the sooner we can reject that slanderous lie that Americans need to be disavowed, the sooner we can once again unite under a country that speaks up against the establishment, an establishment that has colluded with the left and the right. The country club Republicans are no better than the Democrats. We have to have an America First movement. Probably not going to happen in its own party, but it will likely happen within the vessel of the Republican Party. That's why I'm running this race for Florida governor, is to actually put forward a Florida first, America first vision that doesn't apologize for our history, doesn't apologize for who we are, just wants to actually tackle the real issues that are facing young, old, black, white, Christian, Muslim, Jew. It doesn't matter. We are in this to fight this and to stand up to a corrupt establishment.
So look, Nick Fuentes, controversial guy. But regardless, he's talking the right stuff. He's saying the right things, okay? In the sense of, dude, I'm telling you, people are fed up with the Republicans in Florida. If you're from here, you're like, dude, these guys are they're just graping the state. That's what they're doing. They're assaulting everyone here. And a lot of people are like, dude, if fucking these Nick Fuentes people can take down DeSantis, can it get worse? Can it get worse? It's very similar to Zoran, the calculation people made with Zoran. Some people, I assume, which they're like, you could vote for Cuomo and it'd be the same old shit. Or maybe we could, I don't know, take a chance here. So, and he got pushback because of this statement he made about Nick Fuentes. And here he released this video. His videos all look like this so far. Bad lighting, bad angles. Sound is good. They are not Zoran level.
I want to clarify some comments that I made this week rather abruptly in a live interview about the young men in our country who watch and follow Nick Fuentes. I want to clarify and apologize for absolutely nothing. The young men in Pasco County who wore blue America First hats, who came to our event, where the average age in the room was somewhere in the 60s, were there, were respectful, were civil. We had a great conversation, and they have a real pulse for what is going on in the country. Too often these days, young white men are discounted and told that their opinions don't matter, they're toxically masculine, that they have some sort of privilege and their conversation and contributions don't matter. I'm running for Florida governor because Florida is our home, America is our birthright, and we can never, ever sell out the men who built this country.
So no apologies for the Nick Fuentes thing, which is, it's brave. I will say it's brave. On the young white men thing, again, I'm just confused because Florida is not really a state where, I don't know, the black man got his boot on the white man's neck. That's not really our state. Or the Latino man has his boot on the white man's state. No, I think we are actually kind of, like Rodney King. Can't we all get along? But maybe speaking to a national audience like Asmongold. I don't know why, but maybe he is. Let's watch more of his ads here. You'll notice that they're all dog whistles, okay? I'm running for Florida governor to make the trains run on time. Who said they're going to make the trains run on time? You know who said they're going to make the trains run on time. And his name starts with M and it ends with an I, okay? You know who said it. Who was it? It was Mussolini. I don't want to say the name, but it was Mussolini, So let's see what, this is not unusual in the South. Okay, we had a Mussolini here 100 years ago. His name was Huey Long. He was pretty cool. So it's not rhetoric that doesn't, look, what Huey Long didn't do was race bait. He did not go into the race stuff at all. And at a time where there was segregation. So let's see his ad here about trains running on time.
My name is James Fishback, and I'm running for Florida governor. I'm here in Shipley in the Panhandle on tracks that used to carry Amtrak's Sunset Limited. It allowed families to get a train right here in rural parts of the Florida Panhandle and take it all the way down to Disney for Christmas.
Look at how bad the shadows are, man. Look at the lighting. Terrible. I don't know why he did this.
Or Miami for New Year's. Sadly, that train got canceled. It became the latest sign that politicians in Tallahassee, Democrat and sadly Republican, don't care about what happens here in the Florida Panhandle. I'm running for Florida governor because I recognize that Florida is more than just Naples, Orlando, and Miami, that we have to look out for the dignity of our neighbors in the Panhandle, and I'll do that by making a generational investment in our public schools, creating 10,000 great-paying jobs for locals, and also bringing back the Amtrak.
Okay, so we're bringing back the Amtrak. Personally, I'm not a fan. Not because I don't care about the Panhandle, but because there is a way of doing this that works, which is the Sun Rail, which is awesome publicly owned train in Orlando. It's so good. You're in Orlando, you gotta take this train, dude. It's such a good train. But look, man, flying and trains have actually led to a lot of smaller towns in Florida declining because people just take a train or a flight to Orlando to go to Disney. Before, there were all these little towns everywhere where people would have to stop to sleep for the night. If it were up to me, I would make it so you had to drive to Orlando. Everyone has to drive so that you can actually enjoy the state. You don't get to come in and come out. So look, I get it. But I don't think trains are the solution. But it's cool. It's cool. I don't know the Panhandle's needs. I have not been there. Maybe they do need a train, but I would not rely on the Amtrak to do this. Orlando does it publicly and it works. I would do it myself. The Sunrail in Miami, it's a pain in the ass, but it works. Let's continue. Let's continue with the ads, which are all kind of dog whistly. Let's see here. By the way, here you see his memeing, where he wrote sameenergy.mp4 and quote tweeted his ad. Let's see what the same energy is.
It's okay to know it's Mussolini. Look, Mussolini was Mussolini. It's okay to. It's a very good quote. It's a very interesting quote, and I know it. I saw it. I saw what. And I know who said it. But what difference does it make whether it's Mussolini or somebody else? It's certainly a very interesting quote.
Ephra says, I think we lack as a country the discipline to actually run trains on time. We are not Japan or Switzerland. I think that is a very honest realization. I do, Ephra, I know it's possible, but it is hard for America to do. And I'm not sure why, but America has never really excelled. Well, no, they did for a long time in the 1800s and up until the 1950s maybe, but the trains have really been on the downturn. Mr. Elu says, been watching Mussolini Son of the Century and the liberals and Catholics supported him. It's an interesting show. I had to stop watching it when they went into English and they were like, make Italy great again. I was like, this is corny. But it was a good show for a bit. Was Huey Long Mussolini or Roosevelt or Stalin? He was definitely Mussolini. Have you ever seen the Ken Burns documentary about him? He is mostly compared to Mussolini. He is a very Mussolini-esque character. Which Mussolini, especially if you watch the show, which is pretty accurate from what I could see, he was kind of like this third way kind of guy. So it's not surprising, and they killed Huey Long. And Mr. Hilo says Hunter Biden on board the Amtrak. Everything says, ironically, I read a report where Staten Island has the fastest bus service out of all the boroughs. I wonder how you do that. And Mr. Hilo's bringing up the China trains. Dude, I've been on the high-speed rail in China, and it's badass, dude. It's some badass shit. It was really cool to be on. China does it well. And that is weird. I had everything. I wonder why. So let's continue here with more of these ads. These are not hype edits. These are ads. Here we have, this is the one he released today, which is called, Is Netanyahu a War Criminal? Did Israel Commit Genocide? My new ad. This is where you start to lose me. And it's not because of his position on Israel. I kind of don't care. What I do care about are these fucking bonds. I don't care about, dude, you're the governor of Florida. This is what Zoran did too. You're the governor of Florida. What are you going to do? Every Floridian patriot in the military. Every Floridian patriot in the military, you must stop. Put down your weapons until this war is over. You can't do that. Let's watch the ad. Every ad is like this.
Is Netanyahu a war criminal? Did Israel commit genocide? If you say either of those statements in public, you could be convicted of anti-Semitism. Criticizing a foreign government or any government is always protected under our Constitution. Our founding fathers fought and died for that right, and I'll never let anyone steal it from you. My name is James Fishback, and I'm running for Florida governor because Florida is our home, America is our birthright, and we can criticize whom we please.
The only way this is relevant is if you are taking on the DeSantis legacy, which included fighting for anti-Semitic speech to be illegal in Florida. If you're a professor that has incendiary opinions on the Middle East, you will get fired. That's the only, but once again, remember, this would imply that you are going away from the legacy of Ron DeSantis. So it's a very odd thing to do because we're gonna see why I keep reiterating this point. Let's see his other ad. It's called Okay to Be White. It's okay to be white. Dude, if you're white and you need to hear this in Florida, I don't know why. Wait, Who is hating on the white people in Florida? Oh, who's doing it? Please tell me who's doing it. I would like to know. I will call them myself. If they're Hispanic, I'll get on the phone. Stop making fun of these white people. They're cool. I like the white people. We built this state with the white people. Henry Flagler hired Cubans, Spanish, blacks, and crackers to build the railroad. Can't we all get along? Who are white people? Who is harassing the white Floridian? Please let me know. Let's see the ad. Let's see the ad.
Too often these days, young white men are discounted and told that their opinions don't matter, they're toxically masculine, that they have some sort of privilege and their conversation and contributions don't matter. I'm running for Florida governor because Florida is our home, America is our birthright, and we can never, ever sell out the men who built this country.
I don't know anyone who sold out the white guys who built Florida. Dude, Florida heroes, bro. Florida heroes. Who are the Florida heroes? Andrew Jackson, Henry Flagler, Henry Plant, Walt Disney. Who are the... Dude, most of them are white, and no one has beef with Andrew Jackson a little bit in recent years. Not in Florida at the national level. I think a lot of Floridians, if they even know about Andrew Jackson, are like, yo, this guy was pretty fucking cool, dude. This white guy just showed up and he was like, we're gonna make this state cool. You know, and he didn't really get to manage it because it wasn't developed at the time. But it's like Andrew Jackson, you know? So what white people are we hurting? They want to change the name of Broward County. I don't know if that's why he's talking about it, because Napoleon Broward, who it's named after, who was a governor, was a bit of a racially insensitive person, which I would not agree with. I think that would be inconvenient. It would be annoying, you know? They wanted to rename US 1, which is South Dixie Highway in Florida. In Miami, they wanted to rename it Harriet Tubman Highway. That never happened. And everyone calls it US 1 anyway, dude. No one calls it Dixie Highway. Some people do. Some people, older people will call it Dixie Highway. Everyone calls it US 1. So who is hating on the white people in Florida? I would like to know. I will call them myself. Hey, stop talking about these white people are our friends. Okay, these are cool white people in Florida. I like the Florida. Dude, the Florida Cracker is one of the coolest white people you can meet. They love nature. They know how to hunt. They're smart. They're cool. Florida white people are cool. Who is doing this? You know? So, you know, it's okay to be white. All right. If you needed to hear that, it is okay to be white. It's cool. It's cool. It's fine. You know? So, I just don't see what that has to do with Florida in a lot of ways. Here we have him taking on Byron Donalds, because here Byron Donalds says, we're not going to watch the video. I can't stand this man. I'm surprised he hasn't brought out the drug charge that Byron Donalds had expunged. He had a drug charge for weed. I don't give a shit if, you know, we're like, oh, weed is cool now and all this stuff. This guy, if we can agree on one thing, James Fishback and I, is this guy does not belong in the governor's mansion. This guy is a thief and a criminal and a liar and a robber. I hate this guy. I really don't like this guy. He's terrible, okay? James Fishback and I agree on this. We do agree that Byron Donalds is terrible. And why is he terrible? Look at this. Government must move at the speed of business. Under my leadership, we will invest in AI, quantum computing, and fintech to ensure efficiency and facilitate innovation. Together, we will make Florida the financial capital of the world.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up! You have no right to take me. Shut up! Will you shut up? Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
What the fuck are you talking about, Byron Donalds? This is Mayor Suarez bullshit. I don't want to be the financial capital of the world. I just want to be fucking Florida. I want to be a state in the United States. What are we talking about? Invest in AI. We're running out of water here. We're suing Georgia over water. Quantum computing. Where are we going to set that up? We already have Lockheed Martin in Orlando. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Why are you raping my state? Why would you do this? Why would you do this? This is rape. And James Fishback came back with this, and this is why you kind of root for the guy.
Byron Donalds won't shut up about making Florida the next financial capital of the world. Has Byron ever once considered that maybe we don't want to do that? We don't want to be that?
Thank you. The first politician to say this. No one was asked in Florida if we wanted to become the whorehouse of America and the world. No one, I didn't vote. I don't vote. Okay, I don't vote. But no one voted for that. It wasn't an amendment. It wasn't. No one voted on every piece of the state becoming a fucking speculative property. No one voted for that. No one voted for it. So thank you, James Fishback. I actually appreciate this message. I actually do.
That we want to be the next citrus capital of the world, or cattle capital, or oyster capital, or stone crab capital, farming capital, that there's more to life than financialization, that we have got rural counties like Jefferson and Clay and Putnam and Madison, where we have a rich history of agriculture, of farming, of timber, of cattle, and that there's so much more to life than financialization. Byron, go to these counties, go to rural counties like the one that I live in North Florida, and ask them if they want to be the financial capital of the world. You are proposing a solution to which there is no problem. Byron, where is your plan to invest in rural Florida? Byron, where is your plan to revive an economy where we can give great paying jobs to kids right out of high school? Where is your plan to make housing more affordable? Byron, where is your plan to get the H-1Bs who are stealing jobs from our college students? Nothing. You've got nothing. All you do is whine, write strongly worded letters, go on Fox News, and act like you've done something. The truth of the matter is, Byron, we see through your act. And with all due respect, you're not Florida's next governor, because all you have is money and out-of-state endorsements. You haven't won the trust and the votes of Floridians. And that's the truth. And
I don't know why he kept it rural. Ask us in Miami, do you want to be the financial capital of the world? No, I don't want to do that. I would rather do something else. Please don't rape me. Please. Ask me. I will tell you. Ask people in Orlando if they want that too. And he is right. Also, I haven't been to the Panhandle, dude, but I've been around Lake Okeechobee. You go to these places, you go to Pahokee. You want to kill yourself? Move to Pahokee, okay? That is misery, okay? It was, I don't know if it was Pahokee. Dude, all of these cities around Lake Okeechobee have at one point or the other been the AIDS capital of America. No one talks about this. These cities are destroyed. There is nothing there. They don't give a shit about them because the sugar companies dump all of their waste into Lake Okeechobee, so there's no fish to catch, so tourists don't come to catch fish, and all these people lose their jobs. And the sugar companies don't even hire people to do their jobs anymore because it's all machines. So all the jobs that were used by working class, rural, black, Florida cracker, and even Haitian immigrant labor are gone. The center of the state is a disaster. This is why I would be Stalin if I were in charge of Florida, because we need to fix that. And again, this is why it's catchy. Okay, but let's continue. Very, very nice, Mr. Fishback. I like that one. This one, overdevelopment. Everyone in Florida hates this dude. There's not a spot. Homestead, just 45 minutes south of Miami. You can grow anything there. Anything grows there. It's a beautiful place. And they have just built these shitty boxes everywhere, using all of this land for garbage boxes. This beautiful land. Everyone is fed up with this.
There's only one candidate in the race for Florida governor that actually wants to stop overdevelopment dead in its tracks. And it's me. I want to do that because I'm a fourth generation Floridian, and everywhere I look, in our rural counties especially, they're building more and more, and not the good kind of building, not the building of a bowling alley or an ice cream shop or a bookstore. No, they're building yet another self-storage unit, self-service car wash, or increasingly an AI data center. That is not the kind of development that's going to make Florida great. As Florida governor, I will stop development dead in its tracks because it's making life more expensive. It's making traffic worse than ever, and it threatens the natural beauty and identity of our state.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you, Mr. Fishback. All right. Now, I think now we can get to the other stuff, the stuff that makes this whole thing sketchy. Okay. Because look, I read an article about this guy. This guy here, he was involved in a hedge fund. Okay. And he's broke. He, for some reason, got involved in this hedge fund. And with it, he tried to lobby Trump to become the Fed board governor. Okay. And he did this and he floated out a story that he was being considered. Trump said no. And it seems like he planted the story. Before that, he kind of grifted his way into the Vivek Ramaswamy campaign. He showed up one day to Vivek and he was like, oh, we should work together and all this, and started demanding, places to stay with the Vivek campaign. And they were like, no, who is this guy? Why is this guy here? This guy, and it's very appropriate for Florida, seems like he has a background a little bit in scamming. He says that the reason he's broke right now is because they froze his funds for some complicated reason, and he's actually rich, but they just froze his funds, okay? So he has a bit of a sketchy record. Let's watch this last clip here. This is one worth watching because this is another one of these that I just don't get.
Was there earlier this week. You go to Orlando, you've got people running around International Drive, running around downtown Jacksonville, high on fentanyl. On day one, the Florida National Guard is going into Jacksonville, Tampa, Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. We are going to clean the streets up. And I'm sorry, everyone is going to be charged because we got him on drug possession, we got him on open intoxication, we got him on possession. They've got bench warrants on probably a third of them, and they're going to have a very simple option. Do you want to go to prison or do you want to go to an asylum? That is your choice, and you're going to get the care that you need. And so, look, we got to just do things. And
he wants to reopen the asylum. This is also part of his plan. I get it for Jacksonville. Jacksonville, dude, you go to parts of it, you cannot walk around because it is a lot of drug people, a lot of druggies. I don't think the Florida National Guard is going to do this. I would not be. The Florida National Guard has a pretty good reputation, okay, because they help us during hurricanes. I don't think that they want to go in there and start arresting junkies. I don't think this is the solution to this. This is where it gets a little bit like, what are we doing here? The Florida National Guard? The Florida National Guard, which, pardon the expression, actually, I'm not even going to say it. It's usually poor people, okay? Hispanic, white, black, it's usually poor people, okay? And that's fine. They do a great job. I love the Florida National Guard. I don't think that they want to be chasing around junkies. I don't think that that's what they want to do. I think they want to save people from hurricanes. All right. I think we're finally here. So here we go. Here we have his ad. This is a very powerful wizard. The reason I'm bringing him up too is because he's a powerful wizard. He is not Mamdani level. He is not Nick Fuentes level. He is not Piers Morgan level, even though spit on Piers Morgan. He, as I said, he is a fraudster, it seems. Okay. And he came out here and said this. This was his excuse.
My name is James Fishback, and for the last couple of weeks, I've been running to succeed Ron DeSantis as Florida's next Republican governor. I'm making this video because my opponent, Byron Donalds, has made a very serious allegation against me. An allegation that, if true, he argues I could not serve the people of my state. I'm making this video because you deserve to hear it from me directly. What Byron Donalds has alleged is 100% true. I'm not rich. I never have been, and I never aspire to be. He is right. I have student loan debt, credit card debt. My car was repossessed months ago because I couldn't make the payments, and my billionaire ex-boss has leveled millions of dollars of legal fees on me with his frivolous lawsuits, all because I decided to leave his firm and start my own. No one should be elected Florida governor by how much money they have in the bank, but how much fuel they have in their heart to fight for the families from Pensacola to Pahokee, Mariana to Miami. My name is James Fishback.
Okay. Now I'm getting a little suspicious. What? You had your car repoed. You're in tens of thousands of credit card debt. You are not financially responsible in your own life. You are not legally responsible in your own life. What are we doing here? Why are you running for governor? I'm not saying it because people that are not rich shouldn't be governor, but what are we doing here, folks? I mean, I'm sorry. You have to have, to be Jordan Peterson, you have to have your room clean before you become the governor of Florida. You have to clean your room. You have to organize your life before you are governor of Florida, right? I'm not a crazy demand. What? Buddy. All right, now I'm getting Miami Beach, 3 a.m. Bro, I have a buddy that owns this boat, dude. We're gonna make so much money, bro. Don't worry, just give me $10,000 right now. Now I'm getting that vibe. Now I'm getting a little confused here. I had everything says, meanwhile, my Mayor Eric Adams, where he buried a time capsule at City Hall. Dude, we're gonna lose. We have a time capsule at the court here in Miami that's supposed to be open in like 20 years, and they're going to tear down that court. I wanted to see what was in it. I bet they're just going to destroy it. They don't give a shit. So that made me a little suspicious. You know, made me a little suspicious. And here we have people memeing it. James Fishback, broke as fuck, but unbreakable for Florida. Maybe I don't want broke as fuck. I'll take broke, but broke as fuck is... It's a little too much for me. It's a little too much. You can't be in credit card debt. You know, you can be in like a couple $1,000s. That's fine. Everyone has a little credit card debt. But your car repoed and all this. Now I'm getting a little sus, Mr. Fishback. What are we talking about? And there's reason to be sus because here we have, well, we'll show that at the end actually. Let's see here. We got to show him with the girl. We got to show him with my girl. Great to catch up with the incredible Barry Weiss tonight in DC. Mr. Fishback. I thought you were a Nick Fuentes fan. I thought you were a Nick Fuentes enjoyer. You're buddy with Miss Weiss? The beautiful queen of America? What? What's going on here? I already told you he wrote an article for the Free Press. Does this go a little deeper? What? To tolerate anti-Semitism is to tolerate lies. A culture in which anti-Semitism thrives is a culture in which truths have been replaced with lies. A powerful read that every teacher, principal, and college official should read. Thank you, at Barry Weiss. And Barry Weiss's book on how to fight. What? Sir. What? I'm not saying that I want you to be anti-Semitic, sir, but this is a little weird here. And he replied, for everyone reading this tweet in December 2023, I'll be the first to admit that I fell for the, quote, Israel is our greatest ally, end quote, scam, and the lie that criticizing Israel is, quote, anti-Semitic, end quote. It wasn't until I was offered a paid trip to Israel this summer, which I never took, that I realized how cringe and pathetic the propaganda was. I'll never pretend to be someone I'm not. I don't delete old tweets. You deserve to see how my views have changed over time. Señor Fishback. Well, he's Colombian, right? Señor James Fishback. Señor James. This is, look, I'm not saying whether you agree or disagree with the Israel thing. But I'm just going to say, I'm going to come out and say, and maybe I'm a little arrogant because I don't fall for a lot of stuff. Buddy, if you fell for something that you are repudiating completely now, I'm a little, so either you're lying and you're a grifter, or you fell for propaganda in the past. And what's to say you won't fall for it again in the future? You know, saying that I don't delete old tweets. You are not Malcolm X, Mr. James, Colombian Fishback. When I read the autobiography of Malcolm X, I love it because it's like, oh, I was this, then that, and I changed my mind here. And he explains it, you know. This does not suffice to me as an explanation. And I'm not voting based on Israel. I'm just saying, well, I don't vote at all, but the voter doesn't vote based on Israel. But James, you fell for this and you're shilling it. I'm confused, James. Something isn't adding up here. Something is confusing me, okay? And we'll end with this here, and then we're going to go to YouTube. I know we're not going to go over much time. Let's see here. This is his latest release, which is a dog whistle. It's called Christ is King.
As Christians, we are called to protect the preborn, to defend the sanctity of marriage, and to recognize the dignity of our neighbors. My name is James Fishback, and I'm running for Florida governor to do all three.
Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns.
Look, I love Jesus as much as any Christian, right? Even as a postmodern Catholic, right? We have a city in Florida called Ave Maria that's owned by the founder of Domino's, who's super Catholic. The city is a Catholic enclave, okay? Don't think that Christ is king. Look, it's fine. You can profess Christ is king. That's fine. But this is not an issue for us here. I don't think we have... This is getting a little Valentina Gomez-y for me here. All right. So that's Mr. Fishback here. Now, we're going to end with YouTube because we got to look at this stuff. This is fascinating shit here. I Hate Everything says he was simping for Barry Weiss. That's why that's what I'm jealous of him of, man, that he got in proximity with her. So first, I can't play all of it because if I were to play it, I would get copyright strike. Let's just watch here a little bit of James Fishback when he debated. We're going to have a master debater as governor? What?
Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you.
All right, so you say that President Trump is unfit to take the presidency. Why is that?
I would say that one of the most important values that
We're going to pause there because of that. Look at this. We have a master debater? A master debater for governor? What? Debated destiny on Jubilee? What? But now, look, this is what I wanted to play, okay? Let me find the exact moment. This is Oron McIntyre. Some of you may have heard of him. He's an online right guy, okay? And nothing against the guy, okay? I will say, when he introduced himself here, he said that his home state is Florida. I couldn't find out where he's actually from. It wasn't online, okay? But I don't think he's from Florida. I think this is an Asmongold situation. I want you to watch here. This is where I was like, Mr. Fishback, Senor James, I am so suspicious of you now, dude. I'm losing. I'm going a little crazy. Let's see this here.
At what cost? Like, what does one sacrifice ultimately for those decisions? I think a lot of people recognize, if you live in Florida, how ridiculous the prices are, how out of control housing and all of these other things are, especially, as you say, the insurance, multiple hurricanes blowing through, jacking up rates, car insurance, all these things go through the roof as the claims are made. And these are all hidden costs of living, things that don't necessarily show up in a simple chart, but when you stack them all together, really do make it very difficult for, I think, the young.
So now this is a question about insurance. I love insurance. I'm an insurance guy, okay? That was my favorite class in college. I loved learning about insurance theory. I'm an insurance nerd. Let's see what his answer is here, because we do have a problem, okay? We have a problem with insurance in Florida because it's too expensive. Now, listen to what his answer is of how we're going to make insurance cheaper, okay? Where is this, man? Where is this? Where is this? Okay, here we go. Let's see.
Free market, Oren, you would have had your flood insurance and your property insurance and mine as well cut you a check and say, you know what, we overestimated the premium you had.
Hang on. Let's go back here. Here we go. Look at this.
One point, we are required, the banks require you to carry all of these different insurances in order to own the home, but there's really no way you can find a healthy competition for these, especially with Florida being a state that is frequently visited by natural disasters like hurricanes. So the question is, are these fair market prices coming in from these different insurers? Are they just insurers doing business and responding to the fact that Florida just exists as a swamp in the middle of a place that gets hit by hurricanes? Or
the insurance companies are just abusing people in Florida, dude. They're doing this because they can. That's the reason they are. That's my explanation. That's why they're doing it. Let's see how we can lower it. I have a few ideas, but let's see Mr. Fishback's.
Is there price gouging involved? Is there a way to work with these companies? Do they need to be regulated? How do we handle this situation? Or is the situation simply not able to be handled because it is just a response of the market to the conditions in Florida?
Well, it is not a response to the market of the conditions in Florida. And the best way to know that is we just had the first hurricane season in a very long time that did not constitute a major hurricane making landfall in Florida. In a free market, Oren, you would have had your flood insurance and your property insurance and mine as well cut you a check and say, you know what, we overestimated the premium you had to pay because we in turn overestimated the risk of hurricane landfall and the subsequent damage and coverage that we would have had to pay out. And so a free market is clearly not what is happening. I think anytime you have a system where prices are too high, you have to look at the natural culprit, which is there a lack of competition? Absolutely, there's a lack of competition in this market. But I also think we need to really be honest about these insurance companies and the games that they're playing. Part of it is to do with litigation, tort reform that sort of stops the type of fraud that takes place far too often after a hurricane. I mean,
first solution is we're going to stop fraud and they're going to lower insurance. If you stop fraud, they are going to keep raising insurance because they can. I'll tell you that from experience. They don't give a shit about fraud.
Saw this growing up as a kid, you know, everybody would be throwing stuff in the living room, not me, obviously, but, you know, neighbors, and trying to drive up the ability to have a larger claim payout. We have to crack down on fraud, because when there's fraud in the system, what ends up happening is we end up paying for it. Oh, well, the insurance company got defrauded by $50,000, $100,000. And the person who defrauded them might say, well, I'm not taking from the people. I'm just taking from a $1 billion insurance company. No, those losses are going to get socialized amongst the rest of the pool. So that's the first thing, is to crack down on fraud. And that will allow and work with insurance companies to tell them, look, here's our plan to crack down on both civil and criminal fraud, fraudulent complaints, et cetera. But secondarily, how do we create a system that actually incentivizes insurance companies, as was the case this season? Wait, hold on a second. We paid for all this insurance. Folks are not expecting a full refund of their premiums. The insurance industry would never be financially viable. But we are demanding a system that says, you know what? When you don't have a major hurricane at all in the entire state, when there's nothing to pay out, there should be a refund. And that's what I would work with the legislature to do, is when there are times when we don't actually have the conditions that are creating storms and creating the conditions for claims, that there should be a refund system back to Floridians.
This is literally impossible. This is complete bullshit. And this is where, when I heard this from Mr. Fishback, if we had more time, we could look into the way he's talking. You can tell he has a debate club background. This is it's not charismatic. It's not Zoran. But what got me here, dude, and the devil's in the details, it is impossible for you to get an insurance refund check. That is not how insurance works. Insurance is not a premium that you pay and it sits in some little box and then they tell you, oh yeah, if you have to use it, we'll pay you back. Insurance companies are thieves and liars, and they are evil. I'm not defending them. But the principle of insurance does not work this way. You pay your premium as part of a risk pool. And if you don't use it, you paid it. The company uses it to operate, to forecast for the future, to buy hurricane bonds, because that's what they're doing with this stuff. They're buying hurricane bonds. They're buying financial products to keep the company profitable. If you wanted to do this, if you wanted to actually cut people a check, this would no longer be insurance. If he wanted to do this, he would not have to work with the legislature. He would have to work with God and Jesus Christ and whoever sets the actual, whoever is the textbook definition of insurance, whoever is writing the textbook that define what insurance is. And when I heard this, I was like, Mr. Fishback, I don't think you're serious. I don't think you're serious. Anyone that hurts Ron DeSantis, I'm happy about. Okay, I'm happy that people are hurting Ron DeSantis. That's cool. Fine by me. But Mr. Fishback, I don't think you want to win. Look, and this is why I think, as people in the chat said it, I think this may be why Nick Fuentes is holding his endorsement. I don't know if it would help or hurt Mr. Fishback, but I will say this. This does not strike me as a serious candidate. If you are floating proposals like this about how you're going to cut people insurance checks, if you're also going to change your mind fundamentally on Israel and wait for people to find the tweet and then tell you why you changed your mind, if you're going to be putting out videos about race relations, something, again, we haven't had a major riot in Florida since 1992. We have not had a riot since then. This strikes me, it kind of makes that little image of the Florida grifter pop up in my mind. And I feel for the people that support him. Look, man, maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. But as an analyst, I cannot sit here and tell you that someone who tells you that insurance companies are going to lower rates if we reduce fraud and that you will get an insurance check back is serious. This is someone who has not thought about the issue. He has not actually, it seems like spitballing. It seems like spitballing. And if he wins because of Crisis King ads and all this stuff, look, man, it can't get worse. So I'm not going to shit on him like that. But I got to tell you, at this point in time, and we're going to keep covering this guy because he's an interesting fella, I don't think this is a serious campaign. I would like to know, I would like Mr. Fishback to explain to me how he got to this conclusion and how he visibly thinks that this is the case. I would like to know why he changed his mind on Israel, at what point, why that happened. That's a fundamental change in your politics. I would like to know a lot of stuff that he is not providing answers for. Well, let's check real quick Polymarket, man. Let's see what they have him at. That's my view on him, dude. I'm not shitting on him just needlessly. Okay, I wish him well, but I am worried that we're gonna get another scammer as governor, and at the best case scenario, it'll be another Rick Scott. Okay, look at that. He has a 13% chance of winning. I might actually buy this, dude. I could see this going to 50. But this really strikes me. You can sell on Polymarket after that. Let's fucking bet on it, dude. He has me feeling like Adam Sandler. Let's bet on it, you know? But I can't buy it, dude. I can't. He had a huge jump here, yeah, on December 2nd. I don't remember what happened, to 62%. I don't think he can win. Donald Trump has a candidate. Ron DeSantis is going to have one too. I'm sure he'll fall in line with Trump. Can you defeat a DeSantis and a Trump coalition? He's also, by the way, I have to add, he's repeatedly said he wants to build on, if we had more time, we'd see it in the interview, how on the great progress Mr. DeSantis has made. Governor DeSantis has done every single thing that Mr. Fishback is complaining about in his ads. He's the one that brought everyone here. He's the one that made us the financial capital because he allowed Mayor Suarez to talk. He's the one that invited the whole country to live here. So, Mr. Fishback, unless you're willing to denounce Ron DeSantis and explain yourself, I don't take this candidacy seriously. I feel for his supporters, man. I really do, because, like, I get it. I am pissed too. I'm a young Floridian guy and we've been screwed here. I get it. But this does not strike me as the answer, because to me, it just seems like a grift. It seems like a grift. And people are doing this everywhere now. Now, if he can pull this off, even with the grift, shit, man, stranger things have happened. And this is a powerful wizard, a guy who has defended himself from being broke by making it something cool. I am broke, and what, you know? But I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see you as serious. I don't. I also want to know if you're Colombian. What part of Colombia are you from? Do you like Colombian food? What's your favorite Colombian restaurant in the Panhandle? Do you like to eat bandeja paisa? Which part do you like? Do you like the avocado, or do you prefer the chicharrón? Do you know how to dance a mean salsa? Can you dance a mean salsa, Mr. Fishback? Are you a Catholic? I mean, Mr. Fishback, I would like to know about your ethnic background. Are you wearing those little glasses like that because you're Colombian? Because those are the glasses Colombians wear. Do you speak Spanish? I'd like to know. I don't want you to speak Spanish, obviously. Like, you know, I'm not telling you speak Spanish so you can win. I'm just saying, like, can you speak Spanish? I would like to know. Do you have a Paisa accent? Do you have a Bogota accent? I would like to know more about you. So we're going to keep covering this guy. But as of this moment, this man receives a big C. He gets a C. Okay, he's a C because let's be honest, he gets a C because he's a powerful wizard. He's one to watch, but I just don't take him seriously. I don't take him seriously. And I would like to see someone take this seriously, dude. You're talking all the right shit on overdevelopment. I don't know about the white people shit, but the overdevelopment and all this other stuff you're talking, I like that shit, dude. I like it. Come on, man. Like, don't give me blue balls. Don't fuck me up. All right. DeSantis already did this shit. So why are you fucking with everyone's shit? Why are you doing that? Making me regret that Candace Owens exposed Andrew Gillum as a drug-using guy. Let's catch up with the chat and we'll get out of here. Efra says, after I understand Codebase, and the refractor was a powerful model like DeepSeek 3. Oh, are we talking about AI? Oh, man, the AI is killing us, bro. It's killing us here. They're going to use all our water. I hate everything says Destiny and Piers Morgan's are cooks. The pair of cooks. Efra says, hate him or love him. Destiny is really good at arguments, but I'm not into debate culture. Yeah, Destiny's a talented orator, for sure. For sure. Efra says, is an energy you carry which can backfire. His son does not like him. I think DeSantis' son is a groiper. That's interesting. I didn't know that. DeSantis is run by his wife, though. I know that from experience. His wife is... What happened, DeSantis? Your balls fall off? Because he's run by his wife. I mean, if you want to live that way, yeah. Sir says, Destiny's son is probably a James Fishback fan. Dude, I can see why young online groiper types would... But I would just... Dude, especially, look, I don't hate the groipers. I don't agree with them on everything. I don't think that... But look, the future of America seems like it's going to be Zoran Mamdani versus Nick Fuentes. And if that's the case, at least it's a little bit more interesting. But I just don't like seeing people get hoodwinked or try to find something that's not there in someone who's not promising something real. And Mr. Fishback here, I can't take him seriously. And I think his own groiper fans should say, hey, man, you're full of shit. Like, please show me how you're going to do the stuff you're proposing, because I don't believe you. These are cool hype edits. These are cool ads. But Zoran Mamdani didn't win because of hype edits. He had a coherent policy. We may disagree with it. We may say that it's not possible as groipers. We may say that we don't want, I'm not speaking as me. I'm speaking as a groiper should, in my opinion. We groipers, we want, I don't know, like white America, not free buses. But Mr. Fishback, as a groiper, not me, the groiper speaking, Zoran Mamdani's plan was more cohesive than your plan. Your plan seems a little bit of mishmash, so I don't buy it. And everything says, my favorite Destiny clip is him defending open relationships, and then his girl left him for some joking. Mystery Lou says, the show Silk Stockings had a Florida grifter. DeSantis candidate could be Casey. Casey could be it, man. Realistically, it could be her. I might actually place a bet on her too. But yeah, dude, this really strikes me as a Florida grifter. So we went over time, but I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hate everything. Efra Foil Hat, my boy. Efra, Pajarito Lindo. Who else we got in? We had Audio Vibes. Slower Night. But I'm glad we got to do this, dude. I'm going to make clips of this tomorrow, bro. I've been wanting to talk about this guy for a few months because it's just, I don't like seeing people get grifted. You know, so appreciate you guys tuning in. The plugs as usual here. As I mentioned, the Patreon is active now. I posted the first video. Let me open that up here. Where do I have it? The Discord is here. We added someone else. We have I Mind Crap. I don't know who that is, but here we have our Discord. Wave to say hi. Oh, wave. We have the Discord, which is free. The link is in the chat or in the description. We have the coffee link for the What Would a Postmodernist Do bracelet. It's not associated with Piers Morgan anymore, ever, and it never was. And we have the Patreon, where we have the first episode of the King Leo Movie Club for $5 a month or $20 a month, whatever you want. This one's about the Truman Show. I'm going to release these either weekly or bi-weekly. I'm not sure yet, depending on the response. So appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will see you on the next one.
Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world. My final message.